And we are live. What is going on, everyone? It's your boy Johnny Dunn, and we are back with another one. Today, another epic VeVe live stream. Today, we just have one drop. Nothing too crazy today. We just have another blind box Marvel comic book drop today. Shout out to everyone joining the live stream. We got a few people in here early. Shout out to Kay Walker. Shout out Bobby Green. Shout out HP Yen. Shout out Jerry Close. Shout out to everyone joining the live stream today. Got a good one for you guys today. We got a couple videos going over. Got the hodl or sell video from Comics and Crypto today. And we also have a VeVe and Chill episode number 2 from Comics and Crypto. Sean, we got Danny BR and Chad from NFT Pirates. Going to be going over that video today. It's about an hour long, so it's a little bit longer. But shout out to everyone joining in today. I'm going to be going over the details in just a moment. I'm going to share the screen real quick. I like the covers a lot today. I don't think this is going to be another Holy Grail comic book. See a lot of people asking me questions. I'm going to go over my thoughts in just a second. I think the covers look great. I think they've been crushing the covers on a lot of these comic books. We have Marvel Team Up issue number 1 today. Nothing too crazy, nothing too limited. We have 30,000 total editions, so it's not going to sell out in 0.01 seconds, I don't think, like a 10,000 edition copy would. But I think we've been seeing sellouts less than a couple minutes. So again, I think it's going to sell out. I don't think people are going to be able to get more than 5 or 6 again, which is great to see. A lot of times people have been kind of worrying that things don't sell out right away. Not every drop's supposed to sell out instantly. And the fact that a lot of these still are selling out pretty quickly is definitely a good sign. We have 30,000 total editions for this one. We have 21,000 for the common. We have 5,000 editions for the uncommon here. We have 2,350 for the rare, 1,050 for the ultra rare, and 600 secret rares. So your typical standard comic book drop today. Nothing too wild, nothing too crazy. I like the common covers a lot. The uncommon. I think the white and background on this one with the colors of Spider-Man, I think it really pops on this one. Got the rare. Almost another all black and white cover, but we got a little bit of red here, or orange on that Human Torch, I think. We got Ultraman. We got the ultra rare here. I like this cover. And I like the secret rare. I think the secret rare looks good too. This almost has like the What If cover vibe, I feel like. If anyone's familiar with the What If comic book, I think it looks pretty similar. But I like the ultra rare probably the most out of this one. Maybe the common or the ultra rare. Secret rare is up there too. But those are my 3. The common, ultra rare, and the secret rare. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. And we're going to dive right into it. Hodl or sell video from Comics and Crypto. Sean and Spencer, they're going to dive into their thoughts on this one. If you guys haven't subscribed to their channel, make sure you guys subscribe. I mean, 7.33K subs. It's about to be 10K any minute.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hodl or Sell, where we'll be breaking down Marvel Team Up number 1. In the end, we will let you know if we plan to hodl or sell. As always, this is not financial advice, but purely for entertainment purposes only. Also, if you like this video, please make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that notification button to receive updates on all our content. This video is sponsored by Elite Comics 11, Instagram's #1 community.
If you guys ever wanted comic books, hit up Elite Comics 11, Elite_Comics 11. Great person, great people in the comic book world. They'll get you your comic book that you really want instantly. It only takes a little bit of time. They were great on the time of delivery and everything like that. Easy to work with, great people. Thanks to Dan Schawbell. He was the one who forwarded me to them, and I grabbed my first ever comic book. So if you guys ever wanted a graded physical comic book, definitely check out Elite_Comics 11. And it's great, too, to see them dive into the whole VeVe community. They understand the whole digital concept of digital comic books. They really got on the ground floor and really got involved early.
Community-powered comic sales page. This Friday, April 22nd, we are getting the Bronze Age comic Marvel Team Up number 1. Story by Roy Thomas, with art by Mike Esposito.
I think that cover looks amazing, actually. I like the comment a lot.
And covered by Gil King. While covering a polar bear swim for the Daily Bugle, Peter Parker is suddenly jolted from his work when the Sandman emerges from the ocean. After a quick change into Spider-Man, Peter attempts to stop the Sandman, but the villain proves to be too much for the hero to handle and escapes. Deciding that Flint Marko was more of a Fantastic Four foe, Spider-Man decides to pay a visit to the famed Baxter building. He finds Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch, watching over the building, and the two agree to work together to track down the Sandman. After tracking him down, they finally learn the truth about why the Sandman broke out of prison. He wanted to visit his sick mother for Christmas, and she doesn't know he is a criminal. The two heroes agree to let him visit his mother on the promise that he will return to prison. Spider-Man even gives Flint the present he was going to give Gwen Stacy, so he has something to give his mother. Released in December of 1971, this Christmas-themed comic is notable for being one of the first storylines to depict Sandman in a more sympathetic light, a characteristic that future comic creators would borrow from, including director Sam Raimi for the on-screen portrayal of Flint Marko in Spider-Man 3. There has never been a 9.8 sale, and Go Collect currently does not have an estimate value, but we anticipate the comic as a 9.8 grade could sell for $8,000 or more. For our final verdict, we give this book a sell. In regards to popularity, this comic does not compete with many books in VeVe. It's a fun story and the first issue of a series, however, there is just too much opportunity elsewhere as an investor. Our strategy will be to go in for the drop, and if we land a comic that we can sell in the green, we will do so to reinvest our gems into more significant keys and Grail comics. That being said, try not to sell your comic at a loss. As time goes on, we will likely see this comic see an increase in value, even if it's small, so there is no reason to sell your comic under 7 gems. Please make sure to reference the spreadsheet on our link tree for each comic definition and ranking. The link will be included.
Made a great point there. Make sure you don't sell it under 7 gems. You know, it's always mind-blowing to see that continue to happen, but I think there's various reasons why that could happen. I mean, it still blows my mind that it happens right away, but I think people may still be getting gems at a discount, and then when they sell it just under the retail amount, they're still profiting a little bit. So I think that's my only guess why that continues to happen. Or people are just shooting for that low mint, and then if they don't get it, they just want to try to get as many gems back as possible for it. I can understand maybe selling something at a loss over time if it just never, you know, gained value that you really wanted it to see gain value and you wanted to put those gems to use into something else. I can understand that, but right away it just never made sense to me. But you know, to each his own. Got another video going over real quick. Covers definitely look good. Early gate, let's go. Shout out to Alex. A few more chats I want to get to real quick, and then I want to dive into this hodl or sell video from NFT Pirates. We got Sean from Comics and Crypto. Obviously, Spencer's not here today, but Spencer's the other part of Comics and Crypto. And we got Danny BR. You guys aren't following Danny on Twitter, make sure you guys go give Danny a follow. I believe it's just Danny. Maybe Pirates has it. Aha, here we go. Danny _B_R. Danny BR on Twitter. Just want to get to a few more chats real quick, and I'm going to pop it on. I think it's a great video. It's a little bit long. It's an hour long, so maybe we'll dive into a lot of it pre-drop and then maybe a little bit some post-drop, but I think it's a good one. I think they touch on a lot of big parts. I'll probably stop it on a few different parts and just kind of give my reaction on some of the things they say because they hit on a lot of key points. I think stuff like that is important to go over to hear from OGs that have been here, see what their thought process is on a lot of things that have been going on in the community right now. We got BDK. What's going on? What's going on, brother? Alex said the secret rare is fire. I agree. I think the secret rare, the ultra rare, and the commons hit pretty hard. Even all of them. I like the uncommon even. I feel like the black and white background with the colorway kind of pops. I feel like they've been crushing these covers. Morning, JD. Today's your day. Secret rare on the drop. Wow, Damien. Could you imagine if you just called it right here? If you called it, I may have to do some kind of giveaway for you for manifesting it for me. I know we can't do giveaways just yet because the transfers are still down, I believe. Common is sick too. I agree. What to do, JD? What's your thoughts on this Disney villain drop? Fan of art, retail price prediction? I want to see all of them. I haven't seen all of them. I know a lot of us have been trying to dig into the Disney villains. Shout out to Cavell. I think Cavell just made a video on this too. He talked about some speculation to where it could be, you know, the Disney emojis, you know, game dropping with the Omi token. I think there's a lot of speculation in that. But I mean, I do see that probably happening sometime long term in the future. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't happen. But for this Disney villain drop, I like the art on the first one that they showed. I would have to see all of them to kind of really dive into my full opinion. I'll definitely do that once we get the full Medium article. So far, I want to try to save my opinions until I see the whole Medium article, because it could completely change, you know. A lot of us are probably thinking of a high edition count for these, but you never know. What if they came out and these are all, you know, close to like 1,000 editions? I would change the game for a lot of them. And you don't know what these are really used for just yet. I want to kind of reserve my opinion, LJ, until we get that Medium article. And then I think I'm going to dive into it a little bit more. I did like the first little picture that they did show in the thumbnail, though. It was definitely interesting. I saw a lot of memes about people did not want the FA Star Wars, or I'm sorry, the FA Darth Vader to be involved. I could understand that. How we doing, Chris? How we doing? Crypto King says, don't listen to these guys. I'm not sure who he's referring to. This is a good book, not a great book in real life. Yeah, I agree. I think this one is going to be something to where, you know, if you do get it on the drop, it's probably a hodl. It depends, though, because like Comics and Crypto said, if you wanted to sell it, invest in some more key grails, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Really just depends on your situation and what you want to collect. I think this book will probably start to do pretty well, maybe long term. Might not pop off right away in the short term, but I think long term, it's a pretty solid book, I would say. Jason Amada, I'm not sure who you're referring to. We got Punch in the building. Any 1970s Marvel is a decent book. Basically, using that standard, this is an A book. Jerry Clow. I think everyone's going to have a little bit of a different opinion. I mean, they talked about, you know, the amount of sales. There hasn't been a recent sale of it, but there's not too many either. So I feel like this book could probably do a little bit better than maybe people expect, but maybe a little bit long term. I think, especially on the VeVe app. Short term, I think people are gearing up for something big, whether that's a Disney drop, like we've just kind of seen in preview, or maybe like a Star Wars in May people are expecting. So I think any comic book really that drops in this little short period of time may not do the best in the short term, but I think long term, I think it could gain some demand. What drops tomorrow? So we got Disney Villains, Punch. Let me bring up a little tweet real quick from VeVe in case you guys missed it. Might not have seen the retweet or seen VeVe's tweet. Also, the DeLorean is drivable, in case anybody missed that. Also, one thing I want to put out here too, just because it's happened a lot of different times. Anytime we see a new vehicle get updated or anything like that, drivable, there tends to be a quick pump, right? Because people are excited, FOMO into it, that maybe not have known it was coming, etc. They FOMO into it, prices rise, but then usually they'll go back to where they were. And that's exactly what we saw once again with the DeLorean. So just putting that out there in case that helps anybody. Not financial advice, but just my opinions only. So Disney tweeted out, VeVe tweeted out 19 hours ago, not Disney. If Disney tweeted this out, the app may not be working right now. The Disney Villains collection features some of Walt Disney Animation Studios' most feared villains. These 3D full-color emoji-style collectibles are the perfectly sinister addition to any collector's showroom. So the fact that they put in here emoji style collectibles is actually huge. And I love the fact that Cavell just made a video on Disney emojis. This is a little preview that they gave. I love the background color and everything. So there's just a little preview here. But one thing that you may want to check out too, just not saying it's 100% correlated, but Disney Emoji has a Twitter account and it's verified. You never know. Maybe this is one of the games that could potentially use Omi in the future. That would be huge. I do think something like that will happen in the future, but maybe in the short term, it won't happen just yet. But I think it would make sense to have Disney IP. You know, if I was Disney, to have their IP in some sort of game, mini game, to where they can make even more revenue from it. I think that will probably be huge in the future. Let's get it. Morning, JD, the biggest bro. Good morning. Good morning. Rule number 1, buy and hold for a year or two and see what happens. Crypto gig. Yeah, not a bad idea. It's not a bad rule at all, especially in this space where almost everything they're dropping seems like it's going to be legendary long term. Dr. Strange in the building. Let's go. Well, that last uncommon was different. Well, facts, definitely. Yeah, the last uncommon, I think a lot of people were excited for. I thought they A lot of people think it looks amazing. I'm not sure if did it actually pass the ultra rare. I know it passed the rare pretty quickly. I was saying on stream, I thought it had a chance to pass the ultra rare. Definitely was closer than I thought. Sooner than I thought. Let's manifest some secret rares today, everybody. Let's go. Marvel Team Up #1 is a book you want. I'll probably say, yeah, absolutely. Long term, I would say so. Again, I think short term, you could probably get away with, maybe letting it go, invest in some, key holy grails. There's definitely some that are still cheap, I think, on the VeVe app. But again, it all depends on your situation. Maybe you already loaded up on all of them and you want to kind of just broaden your collection. Check your IG DM. I definitely will NFTs. Am I not following you? It might be in the requested. If it is in the requested, I'll try to make sure I find your profile in there. Larry Maggins, VeVe to the moon. What's up, Johnny D? How we doing, Larry? How we doing? Disney is expanding operations out of Florida. Interesting to see. I got to look into this. I haven't. JD, it went double from last time. We had 15 billion. What is going on with that punch? Yeah, I'll have to read into this Disney leaving Florida or expanding out of Florida a little bit more. Ken Dub, let's go, JD, getting those secret rare vibes. That's what everybody's saying today. Could you imagine if I actually do land a secret rare and we have a bunch of secret rares today? And they'll land in the chat. What a day that would be, right? Definitely would be a simulation. All right, sometimes life does feel like a simulation already, but let's dive into this VeVe and Chill video. Again, I put the link in my description of this video in case you guys ever want to watch it again or something like that. Watch it on your own time. But it's on NFT Pirates YouTube channel. Again, he's at 7.3K subs. He's going to be at 10K real quick. Let's try to get him there ASAP. Subscribe, like. This is a little bit longer, an hour long. So it's probably going to go a little bit longer than that too because I'm going to stop it, I'm sure, react to some things they say. Might start out a little bit slow in the first couple of minutes, but they're going to dive into a lot of key parts as we move on. So again, if you guys got any questions or anything like that during it, just put it in the live chat. We're just going to sit back, relax. And we got the drop in 47 minutes. My alarm's set, so we're not going to miss the drop. But I want to watch a little bit of this video pre and post drop today. So let's tune in.
What is up, VeVe family? NFT Pirates back at you again with my boys Sean from Comics and Crypto and Danny BR from Twitter. And I'm so excited to be back here again today because, there's a lot of different things that we need to catch up on. There's a lot of FUD in the market. There's a lot of different things circling around. And we felt like, let's take an hour. Let's grab some whiskey here and let's
go.
Some chat. So what's up, guys? How's it going, man?
Hey, buddy. Thanks for having us.
Good to see you guys, man. And Sean, congrats on the David Yu interview, bro.
Thanks so much. Yeah, that was really fun. That was a fun process for sure. A big shout out to VeVe for sponsoring.
If you guys haven't seen that video, it's Comics and Crypto. I believe Corey's in there too from VeVe and 3. And I'm not sure who else is in there. It might just be them. If I'm missing another person, let me know in the chat and I'll shout them out. And I believe David was in there too.
Sponsoring the Elite Comics 11's virtual Comic Con.
Elite Comics was in there too.
Cool. And Ali and the entire Elite Comics team. Very fun, man. That was a really, really fun interview. And David Yu is such a cool guy. He's such a cool guy. Yeah.
Did he show you his collection for once? Because we missed out on it last time.
His collection's huge.
It was really cool. We know that he owns the Action Comics 1. And we were setting up the interview. I was talking to Alex. Alex, can you make sure to have the Action Comics 1 available so I can show it? And what does he do? This is what's so special about David Yu, and what really stood out to me was how big of a collector at heart he is. I mean, he had the Action Comics 1 comic in the background, and like 2 other comics were covering it up. I mean, this is a 7.0 graded comic of one of the biggest grails. It's the holy grail of grails, of all comic books. And he wasn't even going to show it because he was showing other comics that meant more to him as a collector. Wow. And it's not just about the investment for him. And he was showing a couple of them and walking through. One was a Spider-Man 700 comic as a homage to the original Amazing Fantasy 15 cover, and it was made by Steve Ditko. And he was just talking about it in detail and how much it meant to him. And it's not an incredibly valuable comic. And it wasn't even a 9.8, but it meant so much to him, and he wanted to share that.
Wow.
And then here in the background, his like, $200,000-$300,000 comic is probably probably way more than that. It could be $1 million comics in the back.
It probably is by now.
Just
too.
hiding behind, yeah. Oh my god! So David, is that the actual comics one in the background? Can we?
That's ridiculous.
It was incredible. Yeah, it was. He's just the nicest guy. It was just really fun to talk about comics with him.
Wow.
Just share his passion for collecting. Yeah.
And Danny, man, you still holding 57 Walter? How's he doing?
Whew.
Yeah, he's fine. He hasn't moved his. He hasn't gone in the right direction lately, but it's just on all of them, isn't it? Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. Yeah, I say, Sean, I didn't know you did an interview with David. That's how out of the loop.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't, until you just mentioned it, I was like, oh my god, he did an interview with David. That's pretty sick.
That was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. Aside from just talking about nerding out over comics and collectibles, and one of the things that really hit me was him talking about how he actually confirmed this. They're going to have different publishers, comic companies, coming on and showing off or selling collectibles and comics.
That's it.
The whiskey's kicking in a little bit, guys.
Buddy, I'm not gonna lie, same here.
So he confirmed that they're going to have different publishing companies on there. So like, I'm really more in like indie comic books. So
That's gonna be a whole
imagine, like,
different
Boom,
lane.
For example, I'm not sure if you guys know much about Boom, but Boom is a really big comic label, and they actually signed a massive contract with Netflix. So Netflix has the rights to all their content, and they're going to be creating shows and films based off their IP. Basically, Netflix was like, "Yeah, you create quality stuff. We want to make all your content. So we want it all." Yeah, and that includes like Something Is Killing the Children, which is a comic that I've
never heard of
so
them.
many times.
That you sent to me in the mail. Thanks, brother.
I said, yeah, absolutely, buddy. That's a really, really big one. It's a show. It's already been confirmed. It's actually in production, I believe. Mike Flanagan is showrunning that, who did Haunted of Hill House. And great, yeah, it's going to be a great series.
Wow.
And Berserker, which is actually a comic book originally co-created by Keanu Reeves. And they're making a film and also an anime series. It's incredibly violent and just absolutely insane. And it's a comic book, yeah. And basically all the other IP on the it's available to them as well. And I'm also very excited for the potentially seeing like a Ninja Turtle comics on that.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles would be crazy.
With the original first print, there was only like I think 2,500 copies of the original print. 2,500 copies that were ever printed, and that's why that comic is so valuable, because it's very popular, but also very scarce. And 9.8 just sold for, I believe, $200,000+.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So and that comic is just going up. I almost had an opportunity to get the second issue, first print of the second issue, and it was a 9.8. I almost got it for like I think $800. And I'm just like, nah, that's all right. I'll come back later. And now it's like 5K, 6K.
Wow.
Literally like 6 months later, there was a massive comic book pump back in like I think March of 2020, or last year, 2021.
Yeah.
It's massive. Yeah.
And that's likely to do with COVID and stuff. But yo, Sean, how much like of these comics, right, go to like huge price figures, and then how many of them actually come back down? Like, is there huge swings just like you would see in NFTs, like we're seeing now? Okay.
Not at all. Not at
Interesting.
all. Close. Yeah. It's you'll see a slight dip, but nothing like.
Nothing
It's
like
not as-
75% reduction in 2 months.
Yeah, it is incredibly volatile. Like it just goes. Yeah, and that's why I was talking to a few people in the comic community, including Ollie, and he was just like, "Dude, I've never seen anything like that." When I used to kind of dip, like going just crashing, just a roller coaster ride, man. It's wild.
It is wild.
That's the collectors, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean. That's the collectors, though, versus the flippers, isn't it? It's just
That's the thing. I mean, every market has its ebb and flow, right? The ups and downs. It's just part of it. That's why it's so important to start collecting the things you love, as opposed to only going after what you would think of maybe investment pieces or flipping pieces. Because if you're just getting something solely for that reason, it's okay to have a little bit of both, good balance. But when you're only going after those pieces to flip, and maybe you didn't buy at the right time, and now you have to hold on to that for months, you're not going to want to hold on to that piece for months, especially with all these new drops happening. It's important, I believe, not financial advice, but it's important, in my opinion, to start collecting the things you love, because then when you hold on to it, you don't mind holding on to it if it goes down a little bit in value.
like there's not people that are willing to hold it because they haven't got like any emotional attachment to it. Like most comic collectors are people that have loved comics for years, their entire life, and then buy it for nostalgia. Whereas the NFTs, like some people will buy them for nostalgia because they can't afford the real life comic, and that's great, or the real life counterpart, or for whatever reason they think it's a good investment. But a lot of people are just there for the flip. So it's a lot more people just trying to make money than it is with comic books, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing too, like you just said, especially with these Silver Age comics like Journey into Mystery 85, the first appearance of Loki. I mean, it's a very scarce book. There's less than, I think, 1,200 copies on the CGC census. And between a 9.0 to a 9.6, which is 9.6 is its highest grade, there's only like 25 to 30 copies.
Wow.
And yeah, between like a 9.8 to 9.6. And there's only 2 9.6s, and they've never sold. You know, like if you see like, I think maybe one sales happened recently. But that's the crazy part about the physical comics is that, you know, you see that's the ceiling, right? We know the highest grade is that ceiling, but we may never see them being sold. Like we never, because people don't want to sell them. So we'll never know its true ceiling. And that's why a big reason why I think Journey to Mystery 85 has been a bit stagnant. Like it's the price of that physical comic book. Because you need to have the ceiling raised for the floor or for the middle pack to raise up as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And that's why I'm so excited about these digital comics, because there's more of them, right? And people will get very excited about it. But also, you can buy and sell them instantly around the world. Whereas these physical comic books, you buy a comic book.
That's the game-changing part right there. You can buy and sell and collect these around the world instantly. No longer. This is why I got stuck with my Pokemon cards. Right before finding VeVe, my mom found my Pokemon cards. I knew I still had my Pokemon cards. Well, I was hoping I would still have them. My mom found them. I was looking at them all, figuring out, what's valuable, first edition, etc. Found out probably about a couple thousand worth of Pokemon cards. Nothing crazy, but wanted to sell them all. And then I learned about PSA. You have to ship them out. It takes about 6 to 12 months. I felt stuck. And then I found VeVe. And then everything with NFTs, with my whole feeling stuck situation, my Pokemon cards, everything made sense perfectly. Now, because of the blockchain, because it's all digital, and we can prove ownership, we can prove authenticity instantly. The blockchain is like a digital PSA. Now you can buy and sell these not in 6 to 12 months, in 6 seconds to anyone around the world. That's game changing.
You got to ship it. You got to pay for the insurance.
This is a revolutionary aspect that we don't really realize that's happening in front of our eyes because we're living in it. We're living in historic times right now. It just doesn't feel like that because we're part of it.
It's a process. But being able to buy and sell these instantly around the world, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, if I was selling $1 million physical comic book, I would literally take a plane flight to wherever this person lived. Spend money for a 5-star hotel. But one thing I wanted to ask you is I know that we just had a record sale for Marvel Comics #1.
I've been selling my handmade goods through Instagram, but with more customers and orders coming in, I found myself with less time to create my products. Then I found Shopify. Taking my business from Instagram DM.
Ads. Got to get pirates some revenue there.
$2.4 million. Wow. 9.2. Yeah. That's amazing.
I feel like that kind of got missed from the VeVe community. Like, that's a massive deal, right?
It's a massive deal. Yeah. I mean, again, that book is insanely scarce.
That's the Marvel Comics #1.
In Q&A, and he talks about how that comic, he believed that there was possibly up to like 800,000 copies printed.
True.
Yeah. It was a really well printed comic, but they just didn't stand the test of time.
Wow.
Yeah, and the ones that have stood the test of time are doing very well.
Could you imagine if somebody took like just 50,000 of those 800,000? Like,
right?
Well, actually, that would probably they wouldn't be worth the same because there'd be so many of them. But yeah,
and a 2.5 sold for $300,000+.
A 2.5 grade of Marvel Comics 1 sold for $300,000. That's what makes me realize that, the people that were complaining, Comics and Crypto and Shab and Cherry Charts, they came up with an innovative idea with the whole grading system of comics. Now, obviously, grading is more of like a mint, a mint identifying system, almost like a mint value system. Because the digital comics don't lose their, deteriorate in value or deteriorate, physical copies. Digital is always going to stay pristine, right? But because of these mints, it's going to be game changing.
2.5.
A 2.5 sold for $300,000. So that's why the people that were saying, you know, back when this first came out, you know, a 2.5 of a secret rare, how's that? A 2.5 grade of Marvel Comics #1 sold for $300,000. So that's where people just get that misconception of just because it's a low grade doesn't mean it's valuable. No, a low grade on a huge demanding comic book is probably more than a house that I'm living in, right? So that, like, when you have a secret rare, it's still a secret rare. It's just it's a higher mint, so it'd be a lower grade, but still a low grade of a huge comic book is still life changing. That's where people just kind of have that misconception right there.
That's stupid.
You think how many people must have that just sat in their attic, just like doing nothing? Like they don't even know what they've got, or how many people have got that? Just, I reckon, like you said, there's probably like a pre-sale box of like someone's warehouse somewhere where they never sold them. And there's probably like 5,000 just sat in a box. And you just, if you found that, you wouldn't release that you had all that many. You just release like one a year.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what's amazing, guys? Once every couple of years, you have a story about somebody, you know, finding these comic books in their attic.
Jeez.
These grail comic books. I remember hearing a story about, this is such a beautiful story. There's a farmer, I think somewhere in Iowa, and his farm went up, right? Like he lost his farm, and he put it on the market, had to sell everything, and it was a 4th generation farmer, and it was just like, how can you imagine how heartbreaking that is? So he was clearing everything out, and he went up to the attic, and he found it was like a chest, or it was a desk, and I think a thing popped down, or like a dozen comic books popped out.
True.
And in those dozen comic books were like Action Comics 1, and like it was the biggest grails. And he called it was a local auction house, and they basically said, okay, we're gonna come over and check this out. And they came over, and they're like, oh, OMG, this is insane. Yeah. They called New York, and people flew out to see these comic books.
Can you imagine that? You just go up in your attic, be like, yeah, what do we have, you know, from back in the day? And you just find a bin full of comic books, and not just any comic books, but like the holy grail of holy grail comic books. That would be insane, because I know the feeling of me finding my Pokemon cards, and even just seeing, not even first edition, but just seeing the Pikachus in there. I was like, wow, this is crazy feeling. I could only imagine. I'm going to talk to my grandma, and I know she has a crazy, you know, amazing stamp collection. I'm going to see if she has any comic books laying around.
Making millions off his comic books. And he was able to keep the farm because of it. Like, can you imagine how amazing story that is?
That's such a cool story, man.
Apparently, the humidity in the area preserved the comic books because they're up in the attic with no sunlight for decades. So it preserved the comics really well, which is really, really good. Yeah, it's such a cool story. That's amazing. But to say that, those, like, Marvel Comics 1 is so scarce in physical format. Like, that's why I'm excited about these digital comics, because even then, you know, it's like Captain America #1. There's a comic being on auction right now at Heritage it's 9.4 grade, which is the second highest grade in existence. There's only one above that. It's a 9.8. It's actually a 9.8, which blows my mind. This is a 1941 comic. It's the first appearance of Captain America, Bucky Barnes, and Red Skull, and it's the one of him punching Hitler in the jaw. It's so great. But I think that comic's going to sell over probably $2.5 million.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd be shocked. I don't see anything under 3 is a steal.
That's crazy. Is the rare statue of Captain America that him?
Yeah, the punch.
The actual thing of him punching in the face.
Yeah.
Good point on that.
Cool.
And it's called the Punch, actually.
Oh, right.
Let me take a look at the price of this one right now, because they made a huge point right here. And I've heard this one before, but I'm so glad they just hit it back on the head again, because a lot of people don't know this. That famous cover, the Captain America, the first appearance, the cover that we haven't seen just yet, the comic book, the legendary picture of Captain America is actually the same pose of the rare premium statue of Captain America. It's called the Punch. Market is closed right now, so I guess they just closed it a minute early. So VeVe's probably going to tweet out their 30-minute warning. Should I just stay on real quick for it and get ready?
Oh, well, that's what the statue's called, the Punch, isn't it?
It took way too long for me to figure that out. Yeah. It took way too long for me to figure that out. Someone pointed out on Twitter. I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. It was right in front of me the whole time.
Mm.
It's like,
So without like
Here it is.
VeVe, right? What would these NFTs do? Like,
30-minute
would they stand
warning.
the test of time? Would they, you know, how would this work with the licensors? Like, I'm curious to pick your brain about this.
Yeah, so all these NFTs have been minted on the Ethereum blockchain.
This is Monday.com CRM, a CRM you'll actually want to use. Capture and collect all your leads in one place.
So regardless of what happens to VeVe, and I'm still very, very, very high on this company, these collectibles are going to live on because they are on the Ethereum blockchain and they're 100% owned by Disney. For example, if we're just referring to Disney and Marvel,
Yeah.
they're owned by Disney 100%, and they have ownership over the NFT, at least the license. But they will live on, and people will. I mean, as far as the logistics, that's TBD, right? But anybody who owns them will still have ownership, regardless.
That's the thing that most people don't realize right now. Okay, because it's an enclosed ecosystem, there's so much debate right now. Do you really own it, etc.? This is how it works. Ready? You 100% own all of the collectibles, comic books that you bought on the VeVe app because they're NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain. You own that forever, unless you sell it or give it away. You own that. The only difference is on the VeVe app itself. That's where it's displaying the image, and that's why on the VeVe app they can upgrade, they can update these collectibles because they're not upgrading or updating the token ID address that you own. What you own is you own the non-fungible token of these collectibles or comics that it represents, meaning the Walt Disney statue, the first ever Batman. When you own that, you're owning the non-fungible token. On the VeVe app, you get to see the thing that you own in augmented reality, in 3D, in that premium version. That's why they can change the colors, the aesthetics, they can upgrade the visuals. You get to see all of that because of the VeVe app. But no matter what, you own the non-fungible token. You own the NFT. So that's the difference right there.
That's the amazing part.
And I'm glad they touched on that because 100%, we're on Ethereum now. These collectibles are on Ethereum, the biggest blockchain in the world. So unless you think Ethereum is going away and just like never going to be used again, you're going to own these forever on the blockchain. That's what's so amazing about this.
And I think that's what people are failing to realize, right? Is like, despite like the, you know, inner mechanics around, you know, the system that's operating this stuff, like the NFTs have securely been on the blockchain, the data is there, and whether you like it or not, like I'm pretty sure, for instance, like Walt and Mickey, that's the first appearance of Walt and Mickey on the blockchain ever.
So just like you said, that's the first appearance of Walt and Mickey. If anybody owns that, you own that forever, no matter what happens to VeVe. Now I think VeVe is going to be here for decades, right? That's just my opinion. I'm sure these guys share the same kind of opinion. But even if you were against that opinion and you didn't think it was going to be here, right? It doesn't matter. You still own that no matter what. You still own that non-fungible token. Just because it's the VeVe app, that's how you're able to see these collectibles in augmented reality.
From Disney ever. So, I mean, it doesn't matter which way you want to spin it. I mean, if you want to talk about, you know, one of the 1% of 99 that will likely win, I think that's a pretty safe bet. If you're making bets. Right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Sean, you said like there's, like David said that there was 800,000 Marvel ones that were released in, was it 1939? Was it 1939? So yeah, they were released then, and we've got, they obviously most of that, and that's worth like a 9.8 is worth like, or 9.2 is worth like $2.5 million now. You imagine in this, in like say 50, 60 years time, when the blockchain, when everyone's using NFTs in their day-to-day life, they look back on the blockchain, they can say, right, this was the first time Disney ever did NFTs. It completely blows your mind. What we
oh man, and who knows, we may not be using Ethereum 40, 50 years from now. We probably will, but there'll probably be other blockchains and stuff like that by the time new technology comes out that we can't even fathom or think of just yet in 40 to 50 years. But I do believe the main goal in this is to be all interoperable. And that was the genius move that the Komi team made back in the day, was to make these collectibles have like a back end, to make them a hybrid. To when they knew when the time comes and these big brands are okay with the being able to send it outside of the ecosystem, they knew that was going to happen one day. So they made them capable of being interoperable in the back end. It's just right now, they're not interoperable. They're in a closed ecosystem still until these brands give them the okay, which we're seeing a lot of brands be interoperable right now. So I think it's only a matter of time.
Like if you just think back and just say, well, this is how much they were selling for then, and we look back now and be like, oh my god, like we bought this for a couple K or whatever we bought them for originally, and now they're worth 2-3 million. Because and there are only 4,000 of them in the world, and if these get mass adopted, it's just you can't even fathom how much these could potentially be worth if there's that many people that want them. And then you know how many Disney collectors there are. I mean, Sean, I know you're a massive fan, and you talk to people, and your mum's a massive fan of Disney as well. if she had 100 million in the bank in 2020, 2222. She'd be buying one of these. 50 million.
There would be no wallets in the market right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. I mean, I saw a Facebook post the other day, Chad, you nailed it. Like, someone said, I'm done with the VeVe, I give up. I'm selling all my collectibles. And they were all Disney and Marvel stuff. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, that's fine. And again, I understand. If you don't believe that, I respect your feelings. If you don't believe in VeVe, it's fine. But you're losing out on massive opportunity because of these brands. You know, you're investing in these brands when you invest in these collectibles. You know, you invest in Omi, you're investing in VeVe. But these brands, that's what you're investing in. You know,
right.
Buying these collectibles.
You know, it's just important to maybe talk a little bit about this and you know, maybe what are some solutions? You know, obviously we don't know the whole in and outs, but what are some things that, you know, you guys would suggest?
Sean made a huge
for
point
VeVe
here.
to work on?
Respect to your feelings. If you don't believe VeVe, it's fine, but you're losing out on massive opportunity because of these brands. You know, you're investing in these brands when you invest in these collectibles. You know, you invest in Omi, you're investing in VeVe.
Made a huge point right here, and he's actually, you know, spot on. Omi's obviously not just for VeVe, because we know VeVe's or Okomi's branching out and going to have Omi used for a bunch of different platforms. Right now, it's kind of, you know, speculation and kind of coming soon, and that we're going to have a couple to few games using the Omi token. Now, I think that's just the beginning. I truly believe that's just the beginning for Omi. Okomi is a technology company. I believe they're going to be one of the biggest companies in the entire world. I think Omi is set up to be used in so many different platforms. It's going to be insane, I believe. Now, he made a huge point. When you're investing in these collectibles on the VeVe app, you're investing in these brands. If you think Disney's going to be here decades from now, I mean, some people are going to want to invest in their stock. That's perfectly okay, too. That's one route. Some people may want to invest in some real estate in Disney. That's one route, too. There's nothing wrong with that. And then some people are going to want to collect Disney's first ever digital collectibles. The first time Disney ever had digital collectibles, NFTs, first time they ever got into this digital industry is right now. And we have the opportunity to collect them. I think that's one way people are going to go as well.
For these brands, that's what you're investing in. You know,
Right.
Buying these collectibles.
You know, it's just important to maybe talk a little bit about this and you know, maybe what are some solutions? You know, obviously we don't know the whole in and outs, but what are some things that, you know, you guys would suggest for VeVe to work on from this point? I think for me, communication is key. Like, I think with MTL, if it doesn't come till next year, just let me know. Like, this is the actual timeline. Show me a roadmap. Where are we going? What's every year look like, right? So what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's, I mean, I don't know. We watched the interview the other day with Dan with Dan and David, and like even just seeing them, I felt better. Like, just because I hadn't seen them in so long, I just immediately I was like, okay, well, they are still here. Like, you don't, because you don't hear anything for 3 months, and you think, oh, what is actually going on? And the frustration sort of builds, and everyone's got sort of their own. Everyone's in a different boat. Everyone, like, there's some people that can sit on $500,000 worth of collectibles and it doesn't bother them, or $1 million worth of collectibles. But some people, like say, got in January and their investment might be down 75%. And VeVe, like they say, with all this stuff that they've got coming out, like we know that. But I trust the team 100%. I guarantee it will be delivered. But a bit of transparency every 2 weeks.
Might have to head out to Florida with Getsy.
Every month minimum would go so much further than I think they realise. Like, even just them being on camera, just that it sort of ignites that thing. Okay, well, they're still with us, you know. And it's even if they didn't come out, like, a lot of people were upset. Like, I was with what they said, because they said, oh, soon a lot of stuff. But for them to show the web app Like, to me, that was like a massive thing because I've been sort of pushing, thinking like, this is the most.
And Danny touches on a great point here too. Just seeing them, refreshes the community. It's almost like VeVe's in like a can't win situation right now, just because of how much they've grown and how big their demand and popularity is right now. Meaning, some people kind of want them to just kind of shy away from how interactive they are with the community, like they used to be, and kind of just give updates once in a while type thing, maybe like a few times a year almost type thing, like a handful couple times a year, maybe like once a quarter type thing. And that's a good, interesting route too, which I don't think would be a bad idea. But the only downside with that is, though, they're going to have tons of people at that point saying, we want to hear from the community or from the team. We want to hear updates. We want to hear. And so that gives them that makes them kind of want to keep doing the updates like they used to before, because they saw how much we loved as a community for them to get on the ground floor to talk with us and keep us updated. It used to be every week. Then it was like every other week. And now it seems to be like, maybe like once a month type thing, which I think is good. And even if they don't have to give us solidified timelines, like he's saying, because sometimes timelines have been, almost a negative for them, because if it's their fault or not, if the timeline hasn't been met exactly, that's when a lot of people complain. So I think what he's talking about is just the Komi team coming out and even just, showing the web app saying it's not here yet. We don't have a definitive answer when, but it's coming in a little bit. People don't want to hear coming soon anymore. But when you ask for updates and you don't have a timeline, that's what you're going to get. I think it's a great thing just for the Akomi team to keep doing what they're doing, to kind of show updates, just like what Danny said, just to hear them talk about it. It shows that they're still with us almost, even though most of us from the community understand that they're going to be here with us anyway. But like he said, for the majority of the community, I think that's beneficial just to kind of hear the team talk about things, even if they don't have a certain definitive timeline just yet.
That's an important thing for the web app. Because obviously with the Apple fees, and I know Foster did a video on it yesterday about the MTL cash out and whatever. But to me, I don't care about cash out. I care about OMI to NFT more than anything.
Same.
Yeah, that is like that's my main thing. I couldn't care less if cash outs in like every country on the planet. But I know everyone's got their own different needs, and a lot of people don't know about crypto. But I feel like
we can drag one of these core progressions in. That's cold.
The vast majority of everyone that joined VeVe knew about crypto because they found out about it through OMI. So that's my big issue. But just to see them show the web app means that, okay, well, they're still working on it. And that's given me massive confidence back, because it does get on top of you.
Yeah. That's to add to that. I mean, you're right. I mean, like, I think cashing out is going to be important, because even taking a 10% fee, and it's going to help destroy all the off-market sales going at 50% as well. I mean, there's a lot of gems being sold like 50%, 60% of its.
And I think this is why we're seeing a lot of these collectibles and comics go under retail right now. Because if I start thinking about it, this is the only thing I'm thinking of, and it's probably happening. I've never bought gems at a discount like that. I've always tried to keep it legit as 100% as I can, and I'll only do the drops, or not drops, but only do the transactions on the VeVe app. So that way there is no if or risk in it, but there's a lot of people that do. So when you're buying gems at, say, a 50% discount, that means you could buy, you could spend $500 and get 1,000 gems. And so that's why I think we're seeing comics come out right away. Because if you did that and you bought a ton of comics at $6.99 and then you sold them for $5.99, you're looking at it like, what are you doing selling under retail? But they're technically profiting a little bit. So I feel like that's probably happening. So I feel like that's why a lot of people are selling under retail right away. But I think we're just going to look back at these times and say, can you believe this is like the wild, wild west of VeVe? I feel like this is VeVe BC, before crypto, before the solidified structure of the foundation. It's still being solidified right now.
It's priced in the marketplace of VeVe. So that'll take most of those sales away. And then having the option to buy with crypto is so significant. I mean, I know a couple people that have a ton of ETH. I'm talking like a ton of ETH. Yeah. And they're like, guys, you got to get involved in these collectibles. You got to get involved. They're like, okay, can I buy with crypto yet? I'm like, no, not yet, but well, let me know when you can. I'm like, right. Well, get off the market. No, that's okay. Let's wait till I can go through the marketplace. Like, I'm not interested.
See, that's what I'm talking about. When we have this web app, we're building the foundation as we go. We can now finally convert. It's already been solidified on MetaMask. People can convert ETH to OMI. So once we get this web app up and running, we know the web app's coming, then KYC, and then MTL. And then I think Omi to NFT. When all those things hit at once, this is going to be like what we've been waiting for. This is going to unlock floodgates to where there's no 600 gem maximum you can enter at a time. There's plenty of people that want to enter 10,000 gems or $10,000 right away, or connect their wallet to, MetaMask and convert ETH to Omi and then go shopping.
I'm interested. Just let me know when. So they don't really care about how much it costs at the end of the day because they have that liquidity. But like any healthy relationship, you got to have love, you got to have trust, you got to have communication. Like any divorce, it's always one of those things that fall out of place. And I think if they just need to communicate better, really. I mean, that's really comes down to me. I think if they communicate more to the community, like you said, just them being able to talk and just.
Miss Rose pulled out the Samsung. All right, I have a question for you. Are you having an issue seeing any comics in the marketplace, like the thumbnails? Because I heard some people using Samsung having issues with that. And I let a team member know, but I feel like I just wanted to have some other opinions because a lot of people who are using Samsung for some reason can't access or can't see the thumbnail, like the images of covers of the comics in the marketplace. But market's down right now, so you might not be able to notice.
Like giving us updates, I think that was really it helped a lot. It helped a lot. And I think if they
alien mode
with that, it's gonna be a lot better. Because like you said, we don't really know what's going on. We're not hearing from them is a big concern. Because we used to hear from them.
No, I don't have that.
But there's a lot more going on now.
I thought you meant tissue.
There's a lot more going on, so it's tough. And there's a lot that's going on that we don't know about. A lot, I'm sure. Those guys are working hard, man. Like I'm not questioning that. They're working hard. But yeah, I think communication is really important.
Yeah, 100%. It's just, then to add to that, you got I don't know what you guys felt, but I really preferred that. Instead of the AMA stuff, I mean, yeah, great, do it every once in a while, but it's I mean, these guys they're trying to run a business, which is like their main paramount thing. But if they can do these scheduled update videos, which me and my brother, when we first started in March, we used to literally sit down and say, oh, we're releasing an update video in 2 weeks, and I'll be like, I'll be excited to watch it. So we're on that this week, and you get excited to listen to it. You'll sit there. I'd sit there for an hour and a half and just watch these update videos, my brother, and just be like, right, oh, amazing, that's so sick.
I'm still like that.
I so much prefer those sorts of update videos than them asking questions. They have their place at AMAs and things, and I think there's people that are not trained, but there's people that are vetted in that sort of scenario that they do better in than having the CEO and COO of a massive, potentially billion-dollar company or of a company of this size.
$100 billion company about to be.
It's just I think it's a lot of pressure to put on them, and it's the same questions every time, like when Pokemon or when.
That's why I think they're going to continue to go with this kind of new update video, and once in a while take questions from the community. But oftentimes, whether it's new users, and that's okay because they weren't here for some old questions, but it's repeated questions. So they're taking time out of their busy day when they could be working on different things to answer the same questions. I feel like it's not the most optimal way. So I think that's why they're going. And they used to do this back in the day, like Danny just talked about. So I don't see anything wrong with it. But you're going to have new people in the community that may not have been here from when they used to do that. And they're going to start fudding and saying, VeVe is not being transparent anymore. They're done doing AMAs. It's like sometimes people just want to lash out just because they're frustrated with whatever.
Something else. It's like, okay, well, we answered that question. They're better off doing what they're doing, releasing continuous updates, and then having people that are better suited doing AMAs, and then do one every now and again. What do you guys think? Do you prefer the AMAs, or do you prefer the rehearsed sort of questions?
A very strange day is coming to America.
So many ads.
A massive, surprising new transition could soon determine the next group of millionaires, while leaving 99.
Next group of millionaires? That's not VeVe fam.
I think I feel like what the structure was with AMAs, it'd be good to almost have Reese and Alex there, and even a few other community managers where you can just pick their brain. And I mean, again, me saying pick their brain is such a privileged statement because there's probably thousands of people that want to pick their brain. So I mean, but let's just say they take 10 questions as an example. Even if it's pre-recorded, do a bit of a thematic analysis, see which questions are most coming up. and then have the pre-recorded from David and Dan, so that way they can get that important info out. But I just think, like, for me, I agree. I think it's the communication. I think the old strategy from them was kind of over promise and under deliver in a sense, because they were saying a lot of things that were happening and then they didn't happen, and that's what I think frustrated people. And now, I don't know if you guys saw, but they released an update today or yesterday about, like, giving you kind of a understanding of what your collectibles were worth. It shows, like, your gem balance now in terms of your floor value of your NFTs. And they didn't say anything about that. They're not like, oh, we're going to do an update on this. So they just gave it to us. And that's the exact opposite. That's, under promising and over delivering. And I think that's their new strategy going forward, is they've kind of learned some of this stuff. And they're like, okay, let's switch it up a bit here,
I didn't think of it. You guys just thought of it. Miss Rosen Getsy. Wait till we see a recreation of the VeVe green truck, going around to different, designer cons. How amazing would that be?
I also think
it's like the VeVe tour bus.
the biggest problem is they VeVe got too successful too quickly.
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing a story that when they interviewed Alfred Kahn, it was a great story when he talked about when they initially, I think they went over to his house, David and Dan, and they talked about VeVe, and they explained, like, the vision and the project, and Alfred Kahn asked, so what do you think this company is going to be in a year or 2 years? And then Dan replied, so, well, in a year, we're anticipating about 70,000 users. And then by year 2, about 150,000 users would, doing a lot of marketing. And Alfred Kahn said, whoa, that's ambitious, guys. I mean, I love the ambition, but, it's, you got to keep the expectations realistic, That's 2 years. Like, that's insane. So they probably had a certain roadmap, and it just, everything just got blown up.
And that's exactly what did happen. March 1st, just under 10,000 users. By the end of March 2021, we had over 180,000 users. That's insane, because January, they had 5,000. February, they had just under 5,000. So just under 10,000 users total from January, February, March 1st. And then in 1 month, 180,000. So they've been on record to say a lot of that growth hurt some of the development. Next couple of months, a lot of things got delayed. They had to re-engineer the entire app to hold the load.
And it's just trying to scale at that point.
Right.
Victim of your own success. It is wild when you think about it. Like, but everyone in crypto, like I said, I think the majority of people come from crypto, and they're used to things moving so fast that you can get caught up in everything. And you think, well, I think the way that they're doing is if you under promise and over deliver, that's going to be the next big thing. And everyone, like, you speak to now, it's like, I feel like they're cooking something up. I feel like they're just going to drop a bomb, and then everything will be probably rolled out at once, and they'll just hit everyone. Like, that's the way it's sort of seeming now. Like, I feel like sentiment's changed a little bit, especially since that latest update video. Like, I feel so much more confident, but because you haven't heard anything in 3 months, it's like you get run down. Like, just dealing with people, especially if you're talking to people and you're a backer of the company. Like, you since the beginning, if you've been in it since February, like we have, or March, and you're always like, this is like the next big thing, and you're selling it to your friends. You're like, guys, this is it. And it's like, fuck it, eat shit constantly. Like, we got, like, just when it's like, when it's great. But then this is the problem with telling people about investments, because when it's good, like, they don't thank you, and when it eats shit, you're like public enemy number one. So it puts pressure on you.
Yeah,
it's true. And I think, like, that's the important distinction that people have to make, is, like, this is never financial advice. Like, these were our subjective perceptions based on drawing, parallels to the physical realm. And being, unless, like, the universe is unhinged, these should follow similar principles. But what I think the biggest missed thing is that there's a lot of just crypto people, like we discussed at the beginning, and a lot of people that aren't collectors, and a lot of people that are just in it to ride waves and potentially artificially prop up a market. And just then everyone thinks that this thing's going to the moon because it's playing on their emotions. Because unlike a coin or a stock, you're not really emotionally attached to something like a friggin' R2D2, which you've grown up with your whole life. So there's, like, this whole other element that people are kind of capitalizing on. But yeah, like, so I think that's an important thing, right? I think there are legitimate concerns from the community. I think, like, some of the bot stuff, and I think, they're making strides to fix it. And I mean, if you look at Axie Infinity, $600 million lost. Like, look at Recur right now. I mean, people are so upset. They're getting like 7 likes on Twitter. I mean, there's so.
We're gonna get back to this video in just a second. The 5-minute warning coming up. And again, shout out to all the other NFT platforms out there. I know you just touched on that one platform getting like 7 likes. I want to see everybody get into digital collecting as a whole. I'm a huge believer. I truly believe the more people that get into digital collecting, the better it is for the entire space. The more that people enjoy, VeVe, I think, because VeVe is going to have something for everybody, and everybody's a fan of something. So the more people get into this platform, that platform, this one, I think it's better overall, because eventually they're going to find VeVe. Eventually they're going to find something they like on VeVe. And the more, I believe it's going to be just like how we see social media apps today, or maybe clothing brands. I always say it all the time, so a lot of you guys hear me say it all the time. But there's Nike, there's Adidas, there's K-Swiss, there's Reebok. There's a whole bunch of different clothing brands out there. There's main ones, and I believe VeVe is going to be the main NFT digital collecting platform. I still think that there's going to be other ones out there that survive. I just believe that VeVe is probably going to be number one. Why is mine? Oh, okay. My clock said 7 minutes. I had to refresh it. 3 minutes and 33 seconds left for the drop. Super Simone. Oh, good luck, Miss Rose. Good luck, fam. 5-minute alarm. Facts. That one day I missed the drop. I feel like that haunted me forever. And the one thing, about just touch on this real quick too. Real Talk had a good question here. Omi isn't Shiba or Doge, so what's your opinion on why hasn't Omi gained the same traction? It's a valid question here. Just my answer to this one, I did state it here in the chat, but I do believe mainly for a couple of reasons right now. I think the huge reason is the ease of access. If you compare, you can look up how many exchanges Doge and Shiba are on right now, and then you can look up how many exchanges Omi is on. And when you see the number, I think that's going to be like a huge light bulb saying like, wow, okay, this is before all of that. What's going to happen when Omi is on just as many exchanges as that? Time will tell. Also, I think the other thing that's going to be huge too is once people are able to start buying these NFTs with Omi, once people are able to stake their Omi, once people start buying land in Omi, once people are starting to buy accessories and upgrades in Omi, all that stuff is going to be huge. So that's the utility for it. On top of different platforms using Omi for games. Like, that's why when people say these high crazy projections of Omi, I actually do think that. I think it's just going to take some time to get there. I don't think it's going to happen, in a couple months from now. But I think in a year or two from now, I think anybody who's in right now will be blown away. I truly believe that. I mean, unless you believe digital is not going to, unless you believe we're not going to continue to go into the digital world, which, like it or not, I mean, that's a whole nother discussion for a day. If you like the fact we're going into the digital world or not, or if you believe it's good or bad, that's a whole different discussion. But whether you like it or not, or believe it's good or bad, I believe it's happening. So you can also, that's the problem too. I feel like the people who don't want it to happen or don't like that it's happening kind of gets their vision almost clouded because they don't want it to happen so bad they refuse to believe it's happening. But just from seeing the youth, the kids, even adults, we're on our phones more and more and more. We're in the digital world. We're already in digital metaverses. Twitter is a metaverse. It's just not virtual just yet. It's not immersive. But when we're on Twitter, we're in the Twitter metaverse. Right now, we're in the YouTube metaverse. We're all in the comments. We got less than a minute, 50 seconds. Coffee Gators. Cheers. You got cold brew coffee gate today just because it's not hot anymore. I'm going to record it. Never know what kind of crazy stuff happens these days. A lot of the drops have been selling out pretty quickly. I'm going to still try to time this one perfect. I'm kind of confused. I don't know if we really need to time it perfect anymore, but I kind of want to just stay in my groove. I may not be 100% there mentally, but 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Bye now. That was perfect timing. I don't know if I needed it. I'm only going with one today. What do you guys think? I'm feeling a low digit. If it's not a low digit, I'm feeling an ultra rare or secret rare, like you guys said. What could you imagine? 26,881. All right, let's see if it's sold out. All right, it's sold out. Let's go. Let's go. I feel like this one probably weren't able to get 4 or 5 of them. If I was to guess, I only went for one, but if I was to guess, probably only get like a couple, maybe a few. Again, if you guys haven't learned or you're not sure, one way to get multiples is once you go for buy now and that setting comes up. Let me see if I can kind of show you on the video since I did film this one. Perfect. All right. So if anyone wants to learn how you can get multiple, boom, buy now. Now, once you're on this screen and you hit buy now, as soon as it takes your money out of your wallet, you can actually press exit and go back. But you have to make sure it took your money out of your wallet. Once it takes your gems, you're locked in and you can go back. That's like an old school OG trick a lot of us were doing when we were trying to get as many as we possibly could. Once in a while, it actually wouldn't work to where if it did take your gems, sometimes it would actually reimburse people. I've only seen that happen a couple times. Say 99% of the time, though, you could do that and be perfectly fine. Yeah, curious, send me in the building. Good luck today. Let me know what you got today. Any low mints, any 3 digits today, my man. Nifty's is good too. Diane C, good luck, good luck. Missing a drop on stream, that would be terrifying. I did, Johnny boy. I literally missed it. I knew it was gonna happen eventually, but I just got carried away. And you know what's crazy is that I went to show people like how I would do it, and then I noticed that the drop happened like this, and then I just tried to go buy now, but I was a tad late. I almost got it. Play to earn using Omi is going to be game changing. Absolutely, Rose. Good way to think about it, Johnny boy. Let's go. SR Coffee Gate. Johnny boy got a dub. Got 3 of them. Okay. Anybody get more than 3? K Walker got 3 of them. Season 3 OG got 2 of them. 2 dubs. 2 secret rare. Oh, okay. Diego got 3. Miss Rose got 3. Anybody get more than 3? Oh my gosh. Kurosemi destroyed everybody. 8 of them? Holy cow. You had to use 2 phones, right? Did we go with Getsy's trick? Getsy got 7 of them. All right. Did anybody beat 8? December got 1. Random high min. That's December secret rare, I think. Always get the verification on the 4th. What do you mean by this, FM? Oh, you mean the captcha? So the verification? Got 4. I think Getsy must have used 3 phones. Maybe Vibes got 3 of them. It's my late alarm? What's going on? I must have... It's snooze or something. Back-to-back secret rares. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, Kurosemi, how did you get 7 of them? Or you got 8, right? Ooh, 227 is a crazy low mint. Shout out to you, Goran. That's gonna go for premium. That might be the lowest mint available. That's a really good one. By the way, buying gems on a shadow band count will allow you to go for drops. This is good to know. So if anybody's quote unquote shadow band out there feels like you can't get a drop, maybe try buying 5 or 10 gems and see if that helps. Wow, you guys going for rebounds already? Rebound win. Let's go. Maybe I should. All right, I forgot. I can't go for a rebound. Or I could if I just back out and come back in. I don't like doing that though. Next drop, I'm going to start practicing on these rebounds though. I think for me, I just go right at the 4-minute mark. I don't think I have to go too soon or anything like that. Wow, 4-minute rebound on both phones. Getsy, what are you at, like 9 right now? 2949. Let's ride. Shout out to everyone who grabbed a bunch of good mints, a bunch of chances. I'll let you guys know as soon as mine gets delivered. Mine's usually been taking a while to get delivered, but I'm hoping for a good one on this one. Again, I think this will be a good long-term comic book. Maybe in the short term, it just doesn't do great, though. The Secret Rare definitely reminds me of the What If Secret Rare for some reason. I got 10 minus 7. No way, JJ. Are you messing with me? I think JJ is messing with me. I don't think the market's open just yet. It is? What? Wow. All right. So this might be a time to sell if you have one. The market's up already. Not financial advice, but there's only 3 rares listed right now for 149. There's two listed. So if anybody has a rare, no, 100% right. It's up already. This is crazy. So the commons above retail, 790 right now. Uncommons going for 19. The rare is going for 120. No ultra rares just yet. Wow, isn't this crazy, guys? Market opened crazy fast. VeVe vibes. Market's closed for you? Try exiting the app and then opening it back up. Sometimes that happens. Like if you were on the app screen for the drop, like give it a close and then open the VeVe app back up and then it should open. So weird. How's it open? It's quick already. All right, there's only one secret rare. It's for $299. If I was that person, I would put it for $1,000. Come on. If you have a secret rare or ultra rare, now's the time to probably list it. The ultra rare is going for 100. Man, the secret rare is going for $299 right now. There's only one. If I was that person, I would list it for $1,000. Did they upgrade their system? I'm not sure. Real talk. Just be careful at anyone going in here buying any of these, because I do think more and more are going to get listed. And usually, as we know, as more and more get listed, the price usually comes down. And then once all are delivered, it usually hits a floor. Then if there's demand, it goes back up. There's still 19,300 out of 20,900 comic books left to be delivered. The commons, secret rares, there's 455 out of 500 that have to be delivered still. So market opened up crazy fast today. So just be careful if you're in there buying. What does this mean for a Goron? Man, I remember buying 8 to 12 of them a couple months back, selling them for 4x. Not doing that move again, like being given another chance. What trying to find what were you talking about here, Goron? We got Zachary Roy from the Palace. Didn't get to your comment earlier. Just seeing this. You're throwing those touchdowns this week, bro. Let's go. I'm glad they're not ricocheting off your hands. I'm glad you're grabbing them, you're pulling them in, you're catching the tutties. Let's go. I feel like it's not as hard right now as it was before. Like right now, I can get away with some bad passes, maybe some non-spirals. I feel like the wide receivers, you guys are catching all the passes. But when I would say a couple weeks ago, when everything was going on, maybe the whole bot issue was really impacting it that much. But those were the times when you had to be on point, throw a perfect spiral, perfect time. Goran, elaborate on this comment for me. What do you mean by this? What were you buying 8 to 12 of? Because if you were buying 8 to 12 of the Marvel Comics #1, I completely remember those days. Don't pull a poolside, guys. Johnny Drop Day. Let's go. I like this nickname. Johnny Drop Day. Maybe that's what I should make the titles. Johnny Drop Day. All right, we got some more. Secret Rare was bought. Or just delisted. I'm not sure. Probably bought. Let's go. Ultra Rares. Someone must have bought the $100 Ultra Rare too. I like it. You guys are making the price go up. Now there's a handful of Ultra Rares. Floor is $239. No Secret Rares. I like that. Maybe this pushes the price up. The rares are going for $39. The uncommons are at $11. The commons are at $5. This is a weird opening up. So strange right now. But again, guys, just remember, I'm not saying this is a guaranteed fact because every drop's a little bit different. This isn't a blanket statement, but I will say in the past, with experience, what typically happens is when there's only a limited amount in the market for sale, prices are usually high. And then once more and more copies get in the market for sale, once more and more get distributed, that's when we usually see like a saturation effect happen in the market. People undercut, usually brings the price down a little bit. Then if there's demand after it hits a floor, after all of them have been distributed, put in the market, that's usually when we see if there's demand to go back up in price. Secret Rare, there's 5 of them going to $219 is the price. The Ultra Rare, there's 5 of them back down to $54. See how fast that happens, guys? So imagine you buying up the ones that were like $240. You'd be down a little bit already. 58 is the price right now for the Ultra Rare. 33 is the price of the Rare. 9 is the price of the Uncommon. $4.99 is the price of the Common. Interesting, Diego. I guess you have to be quick, though, because what happens a lot of times if you go to buy it, it's probably already sold. So one thing I like to do, I'll show you guys my little trick. This was huge on the Disney Golden Moments drop when that first happened. If something has so much demand, or if there's just a limited amount and it's hard to buy. All right, say if this was the Homer from the first ever Golden Moments drop. When the Homer first dropped, the price was like $60, right? Maybe just below retail, $60, $65. And I was trying to buy everything from the floor, going up here, scroll down, trying to hit buy now. I'm not going to obviously buy this one. Hopefully it says like, yeah, okay, good. It says it's no longer available. So I'm like, what's going on? Go back, refresh, try to buy another one at the floor. Same thing would keep happening. So if this keeps happening, that means basically by the time you go to click it, you're too slow. So if it's a collectible or comic book that you really, really love, you feel like it's a must-have, maybe you're trying to just lock one in. This is what I did for Homer. First ever Disney Golden Moment drop, I felt like was a must-have. I was trying to buy it for 60, couldn't. 65, couldn't. I was scrolling down, even trying to buy one for like 90, I couldn't. So you know what? I believe so much in this collectible. I want this one so much. I scrolled all the way down. I bought one for $200. Because sometimes if you keep trying to buy the floor, you're going to be too late. So if you really believe in something or you really, really want to lock one in, you love it, it could be worthwhile to scroll down, not buy one off the floor, buy one that's a little bit more expensive, and then go to hit buy now, and then you could buy that one. Now, it's not always going to work out in your favor, especially in the short term, because you just overpaid in the floor. But if it's something that you really, really believe in and really want, it could be worth it. I paid $200 for a home run Bart, and it happened to be a 3-digit mint when I did this. And now we see a home run Bart over $700. It got up to, I think, $2,000. Maybe it's just over 600 right now, but it's a 3-digit mint too. So I'm not saying to do this one on this comic book, but just for example, because I know Diego had a question there, just goes for pretty much everything that drops. If you believe in it, if you really love it, and you think you really want to lock one in but can't buy the floor, what I do is I just scroll down and buy one that's a little bit more expensive, but you can at least lock one in. That's been something that I've been doing for a while now. Secret rares are down to 177. Ultra rares are down to 59. The rares are at 23. The uncommons are $7.99, and the commons are $4.30. I like this. Listed an uncommon for $1 million. Yep. Gino, yep, great tip here. Went over just the tip where you can exit out as soon as they actually take the gems from your account. Yeah, crazy that the market's open already. Yeah, when VeVe just released comics, I was able to buy 10 plus of them, MC1 and so on. Didn't know what I bought, so I sold for profit. If I only knew. Yeah, Goran, it's okay. A lot of people didn't know at the time. When we opened the secondary market, when the MC1 dropped, the common was $2. Think about that, right? That was back when we thought 30,000, 50,000 editions was too many editions. So a lot of people got 12 of them, opened the market, saw it was $2, so they just were giving them away. A lot of people gave away tens of those for free. The same comic book got up to $700. Now, and we've seen the low mints gain crazy amount of value. I mean, if you still have a couple, I think you're in good shape, Goran. And just use those lessons, for next time. Next time we get the first of something that could be a new avenue and it comes out really cheap, could be a huge opportunity. That's the other thing, Goran. Like you said before, there's going to be more and more opportunities on VeVe. So just keep your eyes peeled for them when they do happen. Johnny Boy, take it easy. Have a good one today and December. Have a good one as well. Appreciate you guys big time for tuning in as always. First comment is in. Let's go, Miss Rose. How many did you get again? You got 3 of them, right? You common gang for the first one. Next is a secret rare. Let's go. Let's hope. Let's get back to this video real quick. We're only 26 minutes in. We'll probably stay for like the first half hour. That's only another 4 minutes. I want to stay for the whole thing, but my congestion down here is getting terrible already. I can feel it creeping up. And I even did you guys ever hear of a neti pot? I even did one of those with like saline water or whatever, just to clear my congestion before I even started. I kind of thought maybe if I do this, it could help. But if it doesn't help, maybe it really is just like the air quality down here. I think it could be the air quality, because the longer I stay down here, the worse it gets. So may not even be able to get through this whole video right now, but we're going to get through a little bit of it. VeVe and Chill, episode 2. Shout out to the Pirates. Shout out to Sean from Comics and Crypto. And shout out to Danny BR.
So many NFT projects out there, that are pioneering this space. And I think, at the end of the day, I think it's a no-brainer for me that VeVe's got the best NFTs, man. I agree. The biggest licenses, the most amazing, 3D models of these brilliant characters that we all know and love and cherish. And I mean, they drop shit like Winnie the Pooh as almost like a joke. Like, oh yeah, we're just releasing 5 more NFTs. Like, hope you get them. Like, and then next week we're doing this. It's like, what? Like Winnie the Pooh. Just taking context to this, one NFT platform alone, if they were dropping Winnie the Pooh, that would be like their holy grail. That would be like, all right, we might drop Winnie the Pooh this week or in a year from now. And people would literally be in that app just for that. VeVe drops it like whatever. Like, here it is. Enjoy. Take it.
That's the other thing about VeVe. They have everything. something that's amazing, you know, that could be on another project. That could be like a Monday on VeVe, right? I think that was Pirates. That was Chad that said that in our last interview that we did. It's like something that drops cool on another platform. You know, I hope it does well, and I think it could do well. But that could be like a Monday or Tuesday on VeVe, right? Like VeVe is gonna have everything.
If you want. And so this is like, you know, that's the fourth largest franchise in fucking history. I think it's like 83 billion, Mickey and Friends, and then it's Hello Kitty, and then it's Pokemon. So just to give people context, like, you know, and then they already have Mickey and Friends. They don't have Hello Kitty, but it's just like, and then who knows who has Pokemon? I mean, the cards or the reading on the wall would say, you know, something near and close to our chest, but we're not going to get into that. But I just think, like, yeah, shit, man, we're in a cycle, like, right now. It went down, it was up. I'm, you know, everybody's calling me every name in the book right now. But hey, only 2 months ago, you're all calling me a hero and a legend, and now those same people are turning, you know, their backs on me, and it's like, come on, guys, like. You know, at the same time, like, these are market cycles. This is crypto. Look at every freaking market cycle. Look at Bitcoin.
And what he just said, you know, it's a shame that people are calling him names and everything like that. I feel like in times like these, this is where you have to look around and say, you know, who's acting like what? Because it's so easy to be positive. It's so easy to be all about it, you know, have the best vision for it, you know, content, etc. When the markets are booming, your account's now worth $100,000 more than what you put in. Omi's doing great. You know, it's easy to be all about it then. But it's just like in life, you know, if you get punched in the face once, how do you act then, right? What's your character like when maybe we did miss a couple of delays or some deadlines and some more delays happen? Maybe the market did retrace 70%, right? And maybe people are down now on their investments. Maybe Omi is down, and the combination of everything, that is when the true character in people come out. I feel like, so the people that are lashing out, you know, disrespecting people, all kinds of stuff like that, I feel like, you know, in times like these, it really reveals the true character in people, because things aren't going to plan all the time, right? Things aren't going perfectly smooth. And so in life, nothing goes perfectly smooth all the time. It's easy to be up when everything's great, and it's easy to be down when everything's down, right? Those people that stay even keel, understand the vision of where this is going, the micro fluctuation, the ups and downs, it really doesn't mean that much. So I feel like having these conversations with OGs who understand this, so important for the rest of the community to understand and see this too, because it's contagious. When you're around people, they talked about in this video, when you're around people who are constantly fudding, constantly negative minded, it's draining. It's not only contagious, but it's draining. So
went to 17,000, went back down to like $100. So it's not like, you know, like at the end of the day, I believe, I'm convicted into these products. I'm like, how could you take away the first ever Marvel NFT, Disney NFT, like some of the most incredible shit that's ever happened, right? So anyways, I'm rambling on, but I'm just like, I'm pumped, man. I'm still fired up.
Oh, yeah, this is all great, man.
Yeah. If you like, I completely 100% agree with everything you're saying. It's like you say, it's cycles and stuff. And if people just scale back and think, okay, well, if you generally do believe in NFTs and you believe in crypto as like a whole, then surely the ones that are going to stand the test of the time are the ones that are backed by IP. You imagine how many billions of NFTs there are going to be.
There's going to be billions. Every single person's going to have an NFT project. It's just like websites. I truly believe that NFTs for companies and businesses and people today are so similar, the same exact thing almost as websites for businesses in 1990s. You know, everyone's going to have one for their business, for their company, for their person, etc. Same thing with NFTs. There's going to be a tremendous amount of them over time. I think the best ones will survive. I don't think every single one's going to.
They're always, regardless, if it takes off the technology and you believe in the technology, then you know that the first ever ones of anything will always be worth money and will always be desirable. And this is like, it's not a short-term investment. It can be for some people. It depends how early you get in. But if you look at the long term, then historically, you can look back at this so much. The great thing about this is you look at like Pokemon cards. Like, it's like knowing about Pokemon cards in 1999, like you did, Chad. It's like knowing about it. But now,
Pokemon cards is Chad's thing, I feel like.
And it's like, it's just, you can just see the same patterns happening again, and you're taking a shot. And like, I mean, I mean, we're probably okay because we got in relatively early. I mean, we've all done okay. But I do feel for the people that bought in January. I've got a lot of friends and family that bought in January and at the peak, because it's when everything's going up, you FOMO, and people do FOMO. And
I want to touch on this too, because he makes a good point on this one too. Shout out to Danny. He talks about it right here. A lot of the OGs that have been here from February, March of 2021 are up. No matter, even though it's dipped from January all-time highs, we're still up. And that's the thing too. People just say, oh, you're just fine because, your account's still up, so it's no worries. Yeah, but it wasn't always like that. There's a lot of people that just came in January, right? February, who might have bought at these all-time highs, and now they're down. And they're hearing OGs say they're still up, but we're saying that for a reason. When we bought these in February and March, we went to an all-time high like later in that month, March. Omi did too. Omi hit 1 cent, I think, in late March or April, I mean, all-time highs, and then it came crashing down. Same with the VeVe markets. My account was down for a couple months. Everything that I was buying, except for the stuff that I was buying for retail, a lot of the stuff that I bought after in the market, it was down for a period of time. And I just held. There's a lot of people that sold off. Got scared saying, oh, DeLorean dropped now. Way too many editions. What are they doing? People said they didn't know what they were doing, right? So the people that held through those time periods saw their accounts go from negative to positive to holy cow, right? And I feel like this is the same transitioning that's happened right now. The people that bought in January, February, all-time highs, obviously there was going to be a retracement. We didn't know how much or when it was going to happen. Now they're in the red. I guarantee you, not financial advice, my opinions only. This is a personal projection, opinion, speculation. The people that hold through the downtimes now, in a few months, a handful of months, we don't know how long it could take. Maybe it's only a month from now. But in some time, those people in the red now will probably be in the green. And then it'll be like a holy cow moment for them too. Not saying that's 100% going to happen, but it's my speculation, my opinion. So hearing OGs talk about this, I think it's crucial. And FOMO happens to everybody. It's not just to a certain group of people. Even I didn't do a great job at letting go of some of my duplicates when we had a huge run up. And I even bought some things too that I thought was going to keep on going. So Danny touches on the same aspect here. I think he did the same thing with the Donald Duck. He bought something that he thought was going to keep on going because we were in a period of the market where you could almost close your eyes and pick something and it was going to go up. But we just didn't know how long that was going to go for. So just remember for next time, when things are down, they're not going to stay down forever. And when things are up, they're probably not going to stay up forever. There's always an up and down. It's the ebb and flow of the market. But the biggest takeaway is that when things retrace back, they have always been higher than what the previous time was before. Meaning this retracement, my account's still way more than what I put in. It hasn't retraced back down to all-time lows, but it's back below from the all-time highs. So that's just something to think about.
Okay, but I'm guilty of it. I got stung for tens of thousands of dollars because I bought things that I thought were going to be worth, due to the relative to the market, were going to be worth a lot more than they actually reached. Like the lenticular cards, the second round of golden moments, I paid like literally the peak. I don't even think I was way above the peak. I was just on another level because I started getting. I try and go for low mint, so I was paying like I paid like $5,000 for a 12 for like I think like 120 Donald Duck. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. I got stung seriously hard. But if it swings and roundabouts, isn't it, with crypto and stuff? It's you just got to take these things as they come, but you learn from them. So it is tough, but you just got to stick in there and just realize what you've got and don't panic sell and don't try to get too frustrated, which is why these AMAs and why these updates really help with people, especially with their investments. We've got to sort of try and keep people involved and try and help them not to panic, which I think is really important.
Yeah, the hardest thing too is seeing your investment tank like that. It's you start to lose faith in the things you're investing in, right? But really, at the end of the day, like for me, like when I started investing in comic books, my favorite investments are the comics with safe floors with massive upside potential. And that's what I love as far as investments. And that's what you're getting with these Marvel collectibles, with these Disney collectibles. I mean, they are the first of their kind. So just from a collector's perspective, they're incredibly valuable. There are millions of people who are obsessed with these things, and they don't know these exist right now.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. I mean, it's a fact. And the potential utility, that's the speculation, right?
Yeah.
And even aside from just the collector's value of the collectibles themselves, there's the speculation side, massive upside potential is the utility that could come along with these collectibles. And that's what I'm excited about. So, but again, even aside from that, these are always going to be very hard to see.
Basically just writing the comment that I wanted to basically touch on, because comics and crypto, Sean just touched on this 100%. Real Talk mentioned in the comments, you mentioned that Omi is just a baby. When we touch down on all exchanges, do you think the NFTs will go ballistic? I said I do. Maybe not the second it happens, like that very moment, but just imagine how many people in the world love Disney, love Marvel, love DC, Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Walt Disney, Mickey Mouse, and they don't even know that digital collectibles exist, know that VeVe exists, understand the digital collecting world just yet. So many people don't even get it or know just yet. And that's what Sean just touched on. You know, these are why I think this is going to be so successful, is because for many reasons. But one, the ease of access, you know, that's a big time thing. The fact that this is licensed by the biggest brands in the world, meaning there's people all different countries know Mickey Mouse, know Walt Disney, obsessed with them, right? Obsessed with Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, all these different superheroes. We haven't even got to sports just yet, but superheroes usually a little bit more valuable because it's the IP of Batman, Superman, kind of like Gary Vee's talked about all this time. IP matters. And so many of these people don't even know it exists yet or understand the technology. Once digital collecting becomes the standard, becomes normal to people, the same way digital music streaming is now not a fad. People aren't questioning, is it going to last? Because we have companies like Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes that make digital music streaming seem normal. Just a few years ago where it was a fad, right? Is it going to last? Once that transition really takes place globally, which I think it will in the next couple of months and years, it's going to be game changing, I think.
The comics with safe floors with massive upside potential. And that's what I love as far as investments. And that's what you're getting with these Marvel collectibles, with these Disney collectibles. I mean, they are the first of their kind. So just from a collector's perspective, they're incredibly valuable. There are millions of people who are obsessed with these things, and they don't know these exist right now.
Huge.
And that's a fact. I mean, it's a fact. And the potential utility, that's the speculation, right?
Yeah.
And even aside from just the collector's value of the collectibles themselves, there's the speculation side, massive upside potential is the utility that could come along with these collectibles. And that's what I'm excited about. So, but again, even aside from that, these are always going to be very valuable collectibles because they're the first of their kind. So basically, they're like physical comic books, but without, physical comic books, they don't have any utility.
Think of all the legendary physical collectibles out there. All VeVe's doing is just digitizing it. VeVe is just digitizing the biggest brands in the world. VeVe is digitizing decades worth of content from 250 plus biggest brands in the entire world. Game changing, revolutionary right there. We're just in the midst of it. So we can't really feel it being historic just yet in the micro. But we're living in historic times right now.
These do. And that's what's exciting about the potential here. So, yeah, that's why you guys got to always do your own research. You figure out the biggest brands, and it's a safe floor. And they have the resources to make them as valuable as possible because they have the resources to back it up. They have the parks. They have all the collectible, physical collectibles. They have all these things that they can offer people to add value to these NFTs. Right. It's in their best interest to make these as valuable as possible because they're getting 6% off every sale. It only makes sense, right? It's just logical, guys. It just makes sense. My opinion, at least.
Buddy, like all those.
Unless you think Disney's going to do something and say, nah, we won't make the most money possible. Like, they're going to definitely be incentivized to make these as valuable as possible.
Unbelievable points. And I think that's what, despite what's happening right now in the market and people's perception, I think that's what people need to look at. And that's the same kind of conviction that I had when shit was literally worthless on VeVe. When things were $200 for a Todd, I was like, no, this stuff's important. I think it's and this is that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing we all had. All three of us.
Chad was on it big time back in the day. We were all saying Todd McFarlane Batman is going to be iconic. But it's so hard for people to grasp that and realize that and believe that, because you got to think Todd McFarlane Batman was $200. Todd McFarlane Batman just took 5 months to sell out. It got released in October of 2021. October, November, December. January 2021 is when they finally got launched. It was October 2020 when they launched privately. So October, November, December, January they launched publicly. February, March, 5 months, and 6,000 out of 7,500 Todd McFarlane Batmans were in store for retail, in stock. So 5 months, and then it sold out finally, like mid-March or early March, whatever it was exactly. And then, or maybe even late March, I forget exactly, but basically 5 to 6 months before it sold out. Then it got to $200, $220, $250, maybe $350. And so it's hard to think about that. Think of the collectibles that are $350 right now, $200. Imagine people telling you that this is going to be legendary, iconic. This is the first ever DC Batman. This is the first ever DC NFT. The very first ever Batman digital collectible, first appearance, first ever VeVe NFT. But it's $200. So people are like, yeah, too many editions, nah. Right? It's crazy, the psychology of
We're
it.
thinking that, right? And think about just any one number of catalysts, like hundreds of different catalysts that can literally send us over the moon. Like imagine Disney was just like, yeah, okay, guess what? We're doing marketing now for NFTs. Once like the meta, like just literally was like, yeah, we want to do some marketing. Just, hey, little marketing, you know, we'll just do some news stories across the world. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Imagine the amount of millions of people that would just like, and somebody said this to me that was so funny. They're like, yeah, the reason Disney doesn't market is because they don't want their server to be overloaded on VeVe. And then somebody else was like, you know, spreading the opposite story while saying, oh, well, it's because Disney wants to create their own NFTs and leave. And it's like, well, it doesn't matter which way you milk it.
Disney's going to promote VeVe. So is Warner Brothers. I mean, I've played this so many times. You guys probably don't even need to see it to believe it. Most of you guys have seen this already. But I'm going to play Al Khan. If you guys don't believe me saying this, I wonder if you'll believe Al Khan saying this.
Disney ad on Promine, we send them a free digital collectible based on that movie, and we show them other things they can purchase along with that. Disney's going to promote us.
I'm going to just bring this down real quick, just so you guys can see it too. Oh.
And when your kids go and look at the Disney ad on Promine, we send them a free digital collectible based on that movie, and we show them other things they can purchase along with that. Disney's going to promote us. So is Warner Brothers. Remember the presidents of all these companies. We're going to get so much interesting publicity and so much interesting, you know, gestalt out of this. It's going to be amazing. I'm sorry, I asked you a question.
Like Disney's going to promote us.
And when your kids go and look at the Disney ad on Promine, we send them a free digital collectible based on that movie, and we show them other things they can purchase along with that. Disney's going to promote us. So is Warner Brothers. Remember the presidents of all these companies.
Like, it's going to be insane. So, I mean, there's going to be obviously people, you know, cast their negative opinions, but I mean, it's all going to happen. This is just pre all of that. This is just pre the explosion.
They're on the fucking blockchain, on the biggest blockchain too. So you can't hide it. You can try to, but they're there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and for you to say Disney's making their own NFTs, these are Disney's NFTs, so I don't know what that comment is.
Exactly.
That comment doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, this is a good question, Real Talk. Real Talk says Disney is a global brand. Any opinion on why they have kept a relationship with VeVe relatively quiet? Is there a bomb preparing to drop? And so, yeah, Real Talk. My belief is that they could promote VeVe at any time right now, but VeVe's not ready just yet. VeVe's foundation, the app, we saw what one tweet from VeVe did during the golden moment era. I don't know if you were here, Real Talk. I think you were, for November, when Disney first tweeted out about VeVe, the first ever Disney golden moments. VeVe got 250,000 users, boom, from that tweet. Like one tweet. And we saw that week kind of unfold the way it did because the first few drops did not go successfully as we expected because of how much of the demand the users cost, right? The overload of the system. So many users are just overloaded everything. And so I think because of that, VeVe team, the Comey team, and Disney were probably like, okay, we love that just happened, but let's just kind of hold off on that promo marketing just yet until we can get the app solidified, the foundation structured to hold, millions and millions of users, and then ramp up the marketing a little bit. We've only seen a tweet. Imagine when Disney runs a commercial on Disney Plus saying like new Moon Knight, grab your digital collectible on the VeVe app, right? Stuff, all kinds of crazy stuff. Maybe, scan this QR code for 50% off. Anything they could do. Sky's the limit with the promo codes now. Enter this promo code, get 50% off the next Moon Knight collectible. Anything, right? Sky's the limit. They have Disney Plus. They have ESPN Plus. We're going to see Disney promote VeVe in a huge way, I believe, but in time. Right now, imagine if they brought in 10 million users, right? They would have 9 million complaints. The app doesn't work right. Can't even search for people. The feed's messed up. Can't cash out. When MTL, when website, right? So I truly believe once we get the web app, once we get the KYC for everyone, once the MTL is here for everybody, and we add the Omega NFTs like a next part, that's going to be game changing too. But once we get the three main parts, website, KYC for everybody, and then the MTL, that's when I truly believe, and everybody can cash out. That's when I see the floodgates open. Disney's promoting, marketing, tweeting VeVe, Warner Brothers. That's when the floodgates open, I believe. Because there's nothing really to keep 10 million people in the app right now if they brought them in, So that's why everybody who is staying on the app, who's staying here, who's getting into it, you see the opportunity here. You see how much fun it is too. So that's getting in before everything's unrevealed and ready to go for the masses. That's why being an OG, I think, is going to be legendary, because all the OGs believed in this project before we even had the community, We were here on the ground floor building it all up. So I think things will happen. It just may take a little bit of time. Once we get some major catalysts here, off to the races.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
I think we're all unprepared what's to happen, real talk. I think so many things will change. Our minds will be blown. We're going to be having, debates. Wow, if only I could have did this, I should have did that. This is all part of being pioneers. You're in spaces where it hasn't been here before. We don't know the 100% right answer. We're looking at some grails now. May not be grails in the future. We think we have an idea. Or maybe some grails that aren't grails right now tend to be grails in the future because we didn't see this game coming that involves these characters, and then boom, that's a unreachable grail now that we could have got for maybe less than $1,000 type thing. I think we could see stuff like that happening.
100%. I mean, these are going to live on forever as the first ever by these biggest brands in the world. And people just need to really just cement that in their brains, because that's a fact. Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of hand emotions tonight. I apologize. I'm pretty sure everybody speaks English here. Like, this is
it's only gonna get worse from here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know what that one was. Now, the other thing I wanted to throw on you guys is like a lot of people are saying that the mint number, serial number, doesn't match up with the actual mint number on the immutable. So, for instance, you have 75 Todd. It's really 480 Todd. And I know we talked about how that could actually affect value, but I mean, I don't know what that's going to do.
Yeah, because if I've got the 74 Todd, we were always told that obviously Todd was the first on the blockchain, so which is why we originally added that much value to it. And it might still be the first ever Batman, like the first one might be the first Batman, but there might be ones from the same set. There might have been, especially when they were reminted onto immutable, like how they give out a comic. When you get a comic drop, they randomize it. So I think I've got 74 Todd, so my Todd I think on the immutable blockchain was 4,400, which is like, okay, well that sort of goes against everything. Would that affect the price later on? Potentially not now, but maybe later on, sort of 5 years, 2 years down the line, it might do. You don't know, when people forget about, okay, well, this is the actual serial number. What happened? In which order was it minted? You just don't know which way it's going to go. So it's
he has a good point here. I mean, we don't know which way it's going to go. My belief is that all the data is recorded. whether it's Go Chain, whether it's this blockchain, that blockchain. The fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, DC's first ever NFT, DC's first ever digital collectible in premium digital format is on the VeVe app. It's a Todd McFarlane Batman. It's the first ever Batman. So whether people want to in the future say, yeah, but on Immutable, it was this date, I think that's going to be an ongoing debate, for years to come until that, really plays out. But my belief is that it's on the blockchain. We don't know what blockchain we're going to be using in 50 years from now. I think it's all going to be interoperable. And I think that we'll have the dates from the original time that it was on the blockchain. That'll be a known thing. It was just on a different blockchain. That actually goes to show how early it truly was,
Sort of concerning. Because I paid a lot of money for my time. So for me, it's concerning. But I still think it's an OG collectible. I still think it's the first ever Batman NFT, regardless. That is like a given. And if I got the 74th one that was ever bought, then cool. Like that's still cool. It still holds some value. But yeah, it would be nice to have some clarity on that, especially when we get the sales data and the. Do you know what I mean? When it's transparent about it, which I know they're going to be doing, I think in the web app, like you're going to be able to see all that stuff. So that's another reason to be, looking forward to that.
If we're going to see a massive shift in value for this, we're going to need again a very strong movement behind it, very strong movement. And I don't know if it's going to be strong enough to do that. Time will tell. But either way, I think it also. I've talked to Spencer about this quite a bit, and Spencer looks at it this way: it's just going to add an extra layer of value compared to taking anything away. Right? So if you have a low mint, like VeVe mint number, and then you see on the blockchain, it's also a low mint, and it increases the value. It's just like comic books, right? You have comic books, you have the graded comic book, but then you have, is it a white pages? Is it off-white to white pages? Is it off-white pages? So that just adds an extra layer of value. But that doesn't necessarily take anything away. And you also have people that interest some people, and some people don't give a shit. They don't care. I'll take an off-white pages. I don't care. I personally care. I'm one of those people that care. I want my white pages. I want the cleanest. So white pages is the nicest cover you can get.
Even though you can't read it.
Yeah. But that's good. I think that's a good analogy. It's a really good analogy.
If you've got the like you say, the way you differentiate it, it's just like with comic books again, because that's pretty much the only thing we've got to tie back to. The only thing we can link it to. I mean, obviously, there's other collect.
So to answer this one question, Alex, did Todd drop on its own before the other 3 Batman in Series 1? No. So they all dropped at the same time, I believe, in that set. Todd was the first one ever minted. It's the first appearance Batman. And so that's why it's the first one ever. The other ones did come at the same time, got released in the same set. And there's been an AMA long ago. I wonder if we can bring it up and watch it one day. But Dan Crowlers did say, he put out there, he said, he's not financial advice, but it may be smart for everybody to own the first ever or Todd Batman. He said something along those lines, and I think it really woke up people to say, wow, okay, that really is the first ever VeVe NFT. We got pending gate right now because mine's still pending.
That's in the app. We can link it to the comics. If you've got the first print, the first printing is so astronomically different.
What's up, guys? Alex here from ZVEC. Today I'm excited to show you our newest product, the ZVEC Tri-Screen 2.
I can't confirm it's a real Simone or not, but if it is the real one, shout out to Simone Biles.
A second print or a third print, because I made that mistake. I bought a second print. The first comic I ever bought was the 423 Batman, which is the cover of Todd McFarlane, which you've just shown there. And I bought the second cover print, and I was like, "Why is it so cheap?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I've had an absolute bargain." And then I said to Sean, I was like, "He's like, yeah, you got the second print," but I was like, "Oh fuck." But I like the artwork, so I've kept it, so it's great, and it's my first ever comic, so it means something.
And it's gonna do just fine over time.
Where do you see the print? Like the first, second, and third?
You don't see it if you've got the first one.
Yeah. Actually, let me see your. I can tell you right now which one it is. All right. Let me see the bottom.
Oh, sorry, it's not graded.
That's a first print.
Yeah. How the fuck do you know that? I don't know.
Yeah, the guy, there's this like cheap comic store. There's a bit of a rundown second and third.
You don't see it if you've got the first one.
Yeah. Actually, let me see your. I can tell you right now which one it is. All right. Let me see the bottom.
Oh, sorry, it's not graded.
Let's go. That's the topic for the Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. How the fuck do you know that?
Yeah, the guy, there's this like cheap comic store. There's a bit of a rundown city or town rather where I'm at. So like the deals are exceptional. I just go like 15 minutes east, and then I like, look for some good deals. So yeah, like there's some pretty sweet things that this guy sells all the time. So he sells like raw comics, like really good ones for like under $1,000. Like I saw Daredevil #1 for like, I think it was like $1,800 raw. Like it wasn't in great condition, but I was like, wow, like still, but boys, like, I also wanted to talk to you about like just the current market. Like I see some people stacking like friggin' uncommons of a comic I've never heard of, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, there's gonna be like potentially thousands of more comics coming at that VeVe's rate. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
We're seeing one comic or maybe 2 comics a week, and now we're consistently seeing 3. And I would not be surprised if we start seeing 5. I mean, or having multiples in a day. I wouldn't be surprised. And this really kind of goes back to just do your own research, understand, because like as much as you want to try to ignore the connection to the physical value and popularity, it's very evident. It's very important because it's not just about physical value; it's about popularity. A comic can be scarce, but if nobody wants to buy it, the value is not gonna be significant. Right?
Facts. I truly believe too. Over time, popularity and demand will cause scarcity. If something is extremely popular, one, it's probably the reason why David, you and the VeVe Comey team made a lot of editions. And if it's really popular, it's going to make that collectible be scarce over time.
But I will say, on VeVe right now, this is the first time we actually have an opportunity to invest in almost every single comic book from Marvel at a very, very low price. And that's the thing that people just need to understand and need to budget. I know everything's exciting, you want to get involved in every comic book, but like take a step back and understand like what you're investing in, because unless you have unlimited funds, you got to really budget this thing out.
Facts.
You got to understand like which comic should I be waiting for, anticipate coming, so I can stack up my gems instead of stacking up my comics. Right. And that's kind of
great point right there.
That's kind of important because when something big does drop,
you want to be ready.
You got to be ready for it. So that's the one you want to stack. And the way that the market is right now, people are used to 7 gem common 4s and 200 to 300 gem secret rares. So like if a big grail or big key drops, like a Werewolf by Night 32, which is one of the first appearance of Moon Knight, I anticipate that dropping very soon, or it should be dropping very, very soon. That's a really big key. I mean, the highest grade is the 9.8, sold for about $70,000 recently.
Wow.
It's a very popular comic. Incredibly popular comic, and we just had the show release. Like, its character's probably going to be more popular, over the next coming years. So
I agree.
Yeah, it's important to understand what you're investing in and just budget, because you don't create narratives in your own head that you think are going to come to fruition. It could be a bit of a reach. And that's like it's great to speculate, but make sure you just do your own research and understand like fully what you're investing in. That's really important.
Interesting. I love that because there's a few people right now. And I mean, kudos to them. Like, so this is their thinking. Like, hey, I don't necessarily care about these keys or these Grail comics. I care about when's the first time that I've seen Hulk, as an example.
Shout out to Bobby Green. I think he just joined the live stream early. Maybe one of the first people to join the live stream today. He just bought one of my comics. Let's go. Shout out to Bobby Green with the drop head from My Collectibles.
Appear on the blockchain, even if it's like, imperfect Hulk number, whatever. They're like stacking that. And I'm not saying that, like, who knows either. That could play out. Like, maybe there's going to be a lot of people that believe in that movement. But I just think it's like important to start like thinking about this stuff, especially if you're paying at a premium. And the other thing too, man, like I just want to talk about this quickly is, there's a lot of data that's come out that's kind of showed how many people actually have over, I think, 100 NFTs. And I forget exactly what it is, but it's like supposedly, and again, this may be inaccurate. I don't know. I saw it on Twitter, like 8,000 to 10,000 people with over, 100 NFTs. And if you think about then divided by the amount of, users that we potentially have, that easily puts you in the top 1% of the category when it comes to the master collector program. So I think, if you're seeing also cheap comics for like $4,
let's go. He's still on the stream. Shout out to Bobby Green, my guy. Appreciate you big time. Bought the secret rare comic. That's the first ever comic book arc. Shout out to Bobby Green. I think it'll do well over time. I'm just trying to stack some gems right now. Appreciate that big time.
Just like you would in a comic book store. I mean, that's where my head's going now too. Is I'm just kind of every now and then just grabbing some uncommon comic for $6, just like I would in a comic book store, and just saying like this is for the MCP, and it might not play out, like who knows. But I'm just like I'm already thinking about that too, without selling off like my grails, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's super interesting, man. So like, yeah, because we sort of, I feel like me and you, Chad, especially sort of changed. We flipped our strategy from collecting. I used to just buy everything. Like, before I knew about grails and things like that.
I was the same way.
I was just trying to collect sets, and I used to get like super like get satisfaction from collecting sets. I complete a set, like right, that's staying there. I'm never going to sell that. And because I thought, well, because the Master Collector program, and then it sort of goes on, and then you hear people saying, like, oh, these are the grails, this is what's important, like, especially you guys. And it's like, well, my strategy sort of changed now, and now I only have about 10 sets, like, probably if that, but I've got a lot of the majority of grails. I see a lot of people who do go that way. Then you see people that have got like 110 sets now, or 100, like 5 sets.
I feel like right now he's touching on a great point right now, and a great debate, because we're so early. We don't really know for sure. You know, there's different strategies in this whole thing. Everybody has your own situation, and everybody has their own little strategy, right? Some people are going after as many sets as they possibly can. They kind of set them up for Master Collector, for future grails on those drops with the lottery tickets. And I don't think that's a bad play at all. And then there's some people who would rather kind of sell off some of their sets, maybe some things that they don't value as much, maybe aren't attached to as much, and start collecting only the grails, what they consider what the grail is right now. And there's some people out there who kind of flipped their original strategy and went for, you know, maybe they were after the brands and now they're after the artist collectibles, or maybe at first they were after the artist type collectibles and now they're after the brands. We see all the time that, you know, people are going to switch their strategy, and I think that's perfectly okay and probably the right thing to do. You know, VeVe is a living beast. I always say you got to adapt. Things can change, right? And so I feel like if you're stuck in your own original ways, that can be good because you're sticking to a plan, but it also can kind of be detrimental because maybe things changed with VeVe and some other things. And I think changing your strategy and adapting is definitely a good plan. I know for me, I was collecting almost every set, but it was really because I was just in love with every set. Everything I got, I was pretty much in love. But I've been kind of trying to be a little bit more self-aware of the things I don't love and I just kind of like, and kind of letting go of some of those sets for a lot of the collectibles I really want to lock in. The one that you guys know a lot about is the Walt. I had a ton of extra duplicates, like 40 FA Captain America Marvel Mighties, which I still love. I still think FA Captain America, even the Mighty, will do great. But those are some of the things that I wanted to kind of condense and get rid of to get some of the bigger collectibles. Just goes to show you that there's so many different ways to play this. I don't think there's a right or a wrong way. You just have to do what you believe in and what you like. I think that's going to be a huge thing going forward.
You think fair play for sticking with it, you know, and like I hope it pays off for them like massively, like more than anything. Like I think that is going to be like the massive. I think they should reward those people like tenfold for sticking with it and buying the stuff. Like even if I haven't got that, like it's people like Todd Father. Sam. I think Sam.
Silicon Secure.
Yeah, Silicon Secure. Like these guys and collect. To get anyone that's got 20 plus sets, my hat goes off to you because I think you're going to absolutely kill it when it comes out. Yeah. I hope they reward you more than people that have just collected.
Jay Kill up to 73 sets.
I agree with that. Like 100%.
Yeah. And, you know, just to kind of revert back to like my Pokemon collecting days, like I made a mistake when I first joined the app, and I'm happy to say this. Like I was chasing scarcity because I never knew that they were going to have scarce shit again, right? Like basically they had the Golden Moogly, they had Donnie, and we all thought when there's more and more users, tens of thousands of editions are going to be made, so we'll never see numbers like that again. And we were wrong, right? We saw lots like that.
That he makes a great point on this, Chad. You know, great point, because it's a fact. You know, this is the first kind of big change. You know, we all kind of thought those scarce limited items were going to be holy grails, and they may end up being holy grails. You know, things could change again, but we didn't think there was going to be anything less, of editions than those drops. So we thought those first ones were going to be insane. But now that we know one-of-one pieces of art are coming to VeVe and different things like that, things can change, things can adapt. And like he said, his first original game plan was going after that scarcity, but now it's kind of looking like popularity and demand will almost cause that scarcity. So it's just different things to think about. And again, once we get interoperability and we can sell these things on IMX, maybe scarcity ends up being king for a moment because everybody wants that most limited item that nobody else can get at the time. And it could be one of 250. I think a lot of the SR comics, the secret rare comics, the ones that may not have the most physical value, but extremely scarce, I think those could do great in the short term once people are selling them on, that interoperability. I do think long term, though, it's going to come down to popularity and demand. And scarcity plays a part too, but I truly believe popularity will cause scarcity.
And I look back at Pokemon collecting, it was like scarcity and popularity that won the day, right? Like if you look at Gold Star Pokemons or Pokemon cards that were from like scarce sets, and then I think I've said this in a few videos, but like in 2007, right after the financial crisis, Pokemon had like their lowest printing ever, and nobody gave a shit. And it's like if you would have been stacking at that time, well, damn, like some of those cards are like $40,000 now at a PSA 10, right? And I mean, you're paying like, I don't know how much you'd be paying then, but maybe like $100, right? And so it's just insane because those opportunities are always here. But I think it's important to start to make that research, like Sean talked about and Danny talked about, like start doing your own research now, start making these principles in your head and start like thinking about what's a safe bet compared to what's something that's speculative, and then understanding how high risk of it like it is if you are placing a speculative bet. And I mean, you got to also take the context in that NFTs, as much as they're likely to become mainstream adopted, they're still somewhat speculative, just like crypto, and now we're seeing more stability with these things. But it's just still like, this isn't like you're investing into like an RRSP or some kind of like slow growth mutual fund here. I mean, this is shit goes up, it goes down, and we're all trying to figure out if it's going to stand the test of time.
Exactly. And like most importantly, like for me, I have a list of 100 comic books that I'm waiting to drop on VeVe.
Wow.
I have a list of 100, and 11 of them, out of the 11 top ones, these are like the true grails, in my opinion at least. Only 4 of them have dropped on VeVe so far. So there's still 7 grails that have not dropped yet on VeVe.
Hulk number 1.
Hulk number 1. And see, that's the perfect
and
that's
it's
a perfect example, right? Like, and that's the thing too. People, if they want to say like, oh, that's not the first cold comic book on the blockchain. Again, you're going to need a really big movement behind it. I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It very well could happen, but you're going to need a massive movement behind it. And it's a bit speculative right now. We don't know. But what we do know is that Hulk 1 is the first appearance of the Hulk, and it's massively significant, massively popular, and incredibly valuable in the physical world. And it's going to translate in the digital. And, X-Men 1's another one. I'm really excited about X-Men 1. But Captain America number 1, which I'm really...
That's going to be insane.
To me, that's like, because there's less than 200 copies in the CGC census. Less than 200. And the 9.4 that's selling right now in Heritage Auction, I think it's going to sell for like 2.5 million. And it's going to be like, it's going to turn a lot of heads. Sure. So if that comic ever drops on VeVe, man, that's like...
I think we will see it too eventually.
Yeah, I'm so pumped for that one.
I've been on a comic or a common run lately. I joined the common gang today. I got a common 26,881 today. So nothing too crazy.
Think about that. It's like, to me, that like saying, well, Hulk number 1, if it was the first appearance in real life, like you can almost tie that back to another VeVe collectible. Like to me, it's like the most stupidly undervalued collectible at the minute on the whole app, which is like Steamboat Willie Ultra Rare. Like at 2.2k, that's a fucking joke. Like it's so like I've only got one of them, but to me that is the first ever appearance of Mickey Mouse in real life. It's in black and white. It's animated, and it's the original soundtrack from the original Steamboat Willie cartoon. And
there's 3D model too.
It's it, 3D model of it, and that is like it's sat at 2.2k at the minute. I mean, yeah, there's 6,000 or 7,000 of them or whatever there is, but that is so historically significant. If you look at any other comic, like, okay, what is there? There's 60,000 Marvel ones, but I think even the market cap is like really low of that at the minute. it's to me that is like so significant if you're looking at it that way, which makes me even want to go out and get even more of them. Because I think, well, if that's the way it's going to go, it's not just going to be the blockchain significance; it's going to be the real life significance tied into it. Right. And I think that
One reason why I love this comic, or not comic book, the collectible so much of Mickey Mouse, the Steamboat Willie, is because, like they said, they're taking a 2D and making it 3D for the first time ever. But also, this is Mickey Mouse NFT collection series 1. Can you imagine when we're on series 10 of the Mickey Mouse NFT collection? I don't know how many series we're going to get, but that first one I think will be iconic.
Yeah, you're totally right, man. I mean, and it's funny because, you know, the if you look at the market sentiments back in, I think, December or January, whenever Steamboat dropped, Todd was like 3K. Steamboat Willie was like 6K. Now Todd's 6K and Steamboat's 2.2. Like, just amazing how volatile and how the community really is like deciding. But our community is so damn small, realistically, especially the people that are highly engaged, that, like you said, Danny, once the fucking masses come in and people are like, oh, like they're gonna be like, oh, everybody's gonna be like, oh, I see that on every Disney movie, you know.
It's gonna be
one
insane.
thing I actually wanted to pick your guys' brain about too was, I was at Comic-Con recently in Toronto, okay, and
I kind of want to stop it there. We're 50 minutes in. Never mind, just a moment.
One thing I actually want.
So we're gonna get into Chad talking about the Comic-Con experience that he ran into last, like, what was this, like the last 20 minutes or something. I'm gonna save this for next live stream, for tomorrow's live stream. Gotta hop off, use the bathroom, and my congestion is getting just so bad right now. But I'm gonna finish this one tomorrow. I think this is a great video to watch. I mean, it's about an hour long, hour and 10 minutes. So if you guys want to finish it up on your own till tomorrow, I'm gonna be leaving it right here at the 50-minute mark, basically. Steamboat is a monster. I think I will have to pick up another Steamboat as well too, whether that's the ultra rare or common, uncommon. I do eventually want to get a duplicate of that one. I have 2 Superman right now. I want to at least grab a second Steamboat Willie, but we'll see what happens. I definitely want to. I'll be watching this one tomorrow, probably pre-drop, and see if there's another video maybe we can get into after the drop. But a couple things I want to take care of. I want to fix my studio, my little setup down here. I've been saying I wanted to do it this week, but I was thinking about maybe after today, maybe this weekend, work on it, fix the issue, because I want to be able to stay down here for at least a couple hours without blowing my nose, having to run, having to be clogged up. So I want to fix that. JT got 3 dubs, 2 commons, and an ultra rare. Let's go. JT got the ultra rare today. Amazing. Diane C said, feel better. I mean, I feel fine. It's just every time I stay down here for a couple hours, I just get all congested and just, I don't know. I want to be able to fix that. So Simone said, what a feeling. Been here since November 2021. Feels nice to finally get a secret rare comic on a drop. Absolutely, Simone. Shout out to you. One time for Simone, grabbing a secret rare on the drop today. Let's go. I haven't even gotten a secret rare comic yet on a drop. So you actually beat me getting a secret rare on a comic book drop. Chilling at 14 sets. Absolutely chasing Sundays. 14 sets. I mean, I think that's probably ahead of what most people have, to be honest, right now. I don't think most people on the VeVe app probably have more than 10 sets, I would say. I think once the Master Collector program fully rolls out, it's integrated, we can see our ranking and everything. I think that's going to be game-changing. But till then, I'm going to be signing off, guys. I'm going to be hopping on tomorrow. Going over, I can't wait for the Medium article, so make sure you guys stay tuned. I'm guessing we're going to get the Medium article sometime soon today. Maybe a couple hours from now. I'm going to put it out there. I may make a video even going over it, or just save the video of my reaction for tomorrow's live stream. But I'm excited. Anytime Disney drops something new, I'm excited. This is series 1 of the villains. Yeah, secret rare comic. I mean, I think this is a good comic to get too, Simone. Maybe short term just doesn't do great. I think long term it'll be pretty solid though, for sure. But till then, I'll catch you guys next time. So glad a lot of people got amazing rarities today. A few secret rares, a few ultra rares today. Good to see that. Good to see that. One more time, I'm going to go over this market before I get off. Because you guys have seen, I mean, the big decrease from now. There's 26 secret rares. The list price is $200, so it hasn't dropped that much since the very first one. $200 for the secret rare. Ultra rares down to 45, though. We saw that one. decreased a lot. I think that was like at a couple hundred maybe, or $100. $45 for the ultra rare. 16 for the rare. I feel like that could be a opportunity. Uncommons at 745, and the common is at 425. Still a lot to be delivered, maybe half of them. 8.1K of 20.9K left commons still to be distributed. So maybe it goes back down a tad bit before it goes back up. But we'll see what happens. J Kill, Pioneer, take it easy, my man. I'm going to be signing off as well. I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time. I think there's just one drop tomorrow. We got the Disney villains. Stay tuned. Till then, I'm signing out. Take it easy, everyone. It's your boy, Johnny Dunn. We out, fam.